Happy Wednesday, everybody. Tell you what, got up this morning, sun was shining a little brighter, air just tasted a little better, water tasted better, drive seemed less stressful. And that's because, and listen, this isn't ESPN Milwaukee, all right? It might be for today because Brent's on a phone call right now and I have the airwaves, so who knows where we go. But obviously, the leading story, the biggest story, was last night and the Milwaukee Bucks winning their first NBA title in a very, very long time. Since my existence, since my son's existence, obviously. And yeah, I'm obviously rocking the same shirt that I did yesterday. Do something about it, all right? I may be rocking this shirt 2 weeks in a row, and I ain't going to wash it because I don't care right now because we're world champions. And then, yes, I have a flag tied around my neck right now, a Milwaukee Bucks flag, sponsored by Coors Light that my stepdad brought me. I might be doing that as well. But it was a cool showing last night. It was a cool scene in Milwaukee. And, you know, the entire story, it's been the Giannis show. And whether it was good or bad, the narrative of Giannis Antetokounmpo flip-flops so much during these finals, it seems like, that it's baffling. Like, for instance, you know, when we broke in the show earlier today, or literally a couple seconds ago, there was a soundbite from Kendrick Perkins saying how Milwaukee could have a dynasty on their hands. Now, we'll get into that later. We'll see. I mean, obviously, Brooklyn, if they're healthy, they're going to be a strong opponent. Don't sleep on LeBron James quite yet. Golden State, if they come back healthy, they're going to reload. There's going to be competition, all right? I'm not ready to say here that we're not talking about a 1-peat, a 2-peat, or a 3-peat. We're talking about at least a minimum 5-peat here for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not saying that at all. But man, has their narrative changed from Giannis Antetokounmpo is Robin and Chris Middleton is Batman to now putting off one of the greatest performances in NBA playoff history. And we're talking about a 50-burger, folks. We're talking about 50 points in Game 6, must win at home because you don't want to go back to Phoenix. It was a performance for the ages. And lo and behold, and trust me, there's a lot of things to pick apart from that game last night. But maybe the most impressive thing was Giannis Antetokounmpo at the free throw line. 17 for 19? Are those Steph Curry numbers out of nowhere? I don't know what percentage that is. I'm not that good at math. If we had a calculator, I could look it up. I'll check that out later. But last time I checked, 17 out of 19, pretty good. That can win you some ball games. Steph Curry, JJ Redick-like numbers. And it goes to show you just how he took that game over. How he had to put the team on his back because, let's be honest, Chris Middleton, little streaky. Drew Holiday, played great defense. Devin Booker, who, never heard of you. But on the offensive side of the things, Drew Holiday didn't really show up. But it was Giannis' show last night. And we talked about this yesterday a little bit. I said that if Giannis was going to be out and that team won the finals in some miraculous miracle, it wouldn't have felt the same. That's how the storybook ends for this season for Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's him taking just a big sigh, holding that trophy, thinking, man, I finally did it. And it was very, very cool to see last night because he got it done once again on both sides of the court. Like, the guy is must-see TV because he plays defense. And especially in a modern era NBA, sometimes that can be rare. And it's a special thing when you can have your thumbprint all over a basketball game, whether it's with rebounds, whether it's with blocks, whether it's with dunks, whether it's with shots, whether it's with free throws now. It's just a really special thing. So obviously an exclamation point for Giannis Antetokounmpo, an exclamation point for that city of Milwaukee and then the Deer District, if you will. Really cool scene last night.
Very cool. Everything about it was awesome. Hang the banner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that USF or is that Milwaukee?
No, this is Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, I already announced, same shirt as yesterday. Don't care.
Oh, it is. So you didn't no wash,
didn't
no
wash
anything.
Didn't wash it. I was worried about the curse, obviously. We talked about that yesterday.
Like tie.
Yeah, it is what it is. And Rones is wearing his Giannis Antetokounmpo shirt 2 days in a row. Let's go.
Giannis have sneakers?
Hey,
Should I get a pair?
I mean, we have 2 pairs in the Lane household right now. You might as well get a pair. And you know what the cool thing about his shoes are? Is that he has his brother's names and his dad's name on the bottom of his sneakers.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. It's cool.
He is, listen, we discussed it yesterday. We don't have to go through it all again today, but I think it was interesting that some of the things that we talked about yesterday that I thought I saw play out last night. And it was really the celebration, the post game, and everything else that played out last night. Kind of the way we were talking about. He is a cool athlete. I don't even know of a better way to say it. I don't know if there is a more eloquent way to say it because I'm not the most eloquent guy in the world. But but I just think he is a cool superstar athlete. He's very different. I think some of it is the humble upbringings, but I think a lot of guys have humble upbringings. I really do. I think there's a lot of that, whether you're from the United States, a different country. You know, I think there is something about it in even in our culture that loves the guy with the accent, right?
Yeah,
the guy from there's a part of Giannis that's like fun to listen to when he talks. But then if you really listen to what he says, it's magnificent. It's very kid-like coming from Giannis, who's obviously a grown man. So I thought the whole thing was cool. I mean, I don't know how I felt about him yesterday going immediately over to his family. I thought that was really neat. But then I was like, hey, man, go celebrate with your teammates. You only get to do this once, maybe. Like, take 2 minutes and just go jump around like a little kid.
Yeah.
He had plenty of time to do that. The trophy stuff post-game. In Milwaukee, I said it on Twitter again, I think last night. Twitter is a platform that nobody agrees on anything. I think universally last night, Giannis in Milwaukee winning was a neat thing, a cool thing. Yeah. Not many times we see that. Like maybe Tiger coming up the last hole in Atlanta when he had droves of people. I think people, even though they might not have been the hugest of Tiger fans, I think they were like, that was pretty cool. Like, that's pretty neat. Like, that was one of the moments in recent memory. I was like, I think everybody agrees that this is a pretty neat scene. Golf fan or not a golf fan, just a fan of sports. I get that sense that even the Suns fans who have to appreciate the run they went on, which was a bit unexpected, I think can tip their cap to Giannis and Milwaukee. They got beat by the better team on a brilliant performance. There's nothing better than when you cap off a title run with an absolute brilliant performance from your best player, and that's what Giannis delivered last night.
Yeah, it was a great observation on what social media had to say, because once again, it wasn't necessarily like you had 2 teams that nobody liked in the NBA Finals. Like, it wasn't the Lakers, it wasn't the Warriors. I mean, I think the Suns were you know, for the most part liked because you had guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who's kind of the future, and people respected Milwaukee as well. And then the weird thing with Giannis is he's only 26 years old, so he's got some time ahead of him still.
Crazy.
But like usually we see when, you know, social media, when we say Twitter, they all kind of rally. It's because like a player's kind of on the back nine of his career and like he's one of the best in their respective sport, and they want to see him win one. Like I'm reminded of Alex Ovechkin when he played for the Capitals, right?
That was it.
I mean, like, there wasn't a lot of hockey fans out there that are Capitals fans, but we all wanted to see Alex Ovechkin win one because we felt like he earned it. Well, Giannis is still in the infancy, really, of his basketball career. He's got a long road ahead of him still. But, like, you got this sense that, and once again, we echoed on it yesterday, just the way the dude plays, just the heart and soul that he brings to the game, it's hard not to like the guy. And then when you see these interviews and you see these humble, these little quotes and everything that he has, it's like, well, how can you not at least respect Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, and he's got such a different game. And we talked about yesterday, a game that could fit just about anywhere. And you mentioned the free throws. I mean, but, you know, this is where folks that love sports, like if you like sports like we do, if you've played sports at a very casual level, not as like Austin has at the NFL level and now fighting in professional MMA, not like that, but just you gone to the Y and shot hoops, you played on your high school team, maybe you played a little bit of college ball somewhere, whatever it might be. You can appreciate what Giannis did from the free throw line yesterday because the guy mentally is beat up at the free throw line.
For sure.
And so people are counting how long he's there. He's overthinking every putt, like every free throw, like I'm standing over a putt from 4 feet and I can't make one and have it all summer. Yeah. Like that's how he's looking at that thing. And he has the mental fortitude and the mental toughness in that moment to make 17 out of 19.
Correct.
Incredible.
Yeah.
We wouldn't, okay? The average person wouldn't. The average, I can't be the Greek freak. I'm not 6 whatever and can jump out of the gym and all these great skill set things that Giannis had. But they won the championship last night because of his mental capacity, not because of his physical capacity. One, to fight through the knee stuff of the last few weeks, but then to do that at the free throw line mentally, I don't know if he'll get enough credit for that. Because again, we just marvel at the physical nature of this guy. You know, when you have freak in your name, it's because we marvel at the athletic nature of you.
Yeah.
Well, it was the mental fortitude last night that I was so impressed with, because you can find your stroke a little bit, but you don't go 17 and 19 when you've been shooting like 55% from the free throw line, and people have been counting in the stands how long you're taking to do it because you're thinking about it so dang much, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was incredible. That was impressive, and I actually think there was some sub-layer throughout that game. Of course, the points were valuable in essence because it was a reasonably close game. But I think there was that subconscious kind of performance from the free throw line gave them the edge in the game against the Suns. The Suns had to be sitting there watching him make free throw after free throw and be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, we're following, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to follow him. And he's not supposed to make every free throw. And he was.
Yeah. You know, and it goes to show you, too, like with the Milwaukee Bucks now, about how you build a team, how you don't have to have luck in terms of, you know, these superstars coming together and forming this mega team. And I think teams, you know, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, I mean, I get every sport's different, but especially for basketball here, I mean, Milwaukee essentially, they took a chance on Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was the biggest boomer bust player of that 2013 draft, because you had this tall, lanky kid from Greece, and guess what? He wasn't Kevin Durant, right? Like, there was no comparison there. They said, yeah, he could develop, you know, into a point forward, and he could be legit, but like, he's got a lot of room to grow, obviously, and he's got to refine his skill set. Well, Milwaukee takes a chance on him. I think they draft him number 15, if I'm not mistaken, or 16. It was later on in the draft. And they developed him. You know, he didn't play right away. They had to bring him over and all that stuff. But then once they got a taste of what they had, and once you saw the potential, then that which turned into an MVP caliber type player, well, then they try to build around him, right? And then they attracted guys like Drew Holiday and all this stuff. And they took care of their guy. And it goes to show you that if you have that diamond in the rough, you do whatever you have to do. Now, it makes things easier when you don't have an ego on you and you're very humble.
Yeah.
Right?
He wants to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's another thing.
With all that.
It's another thing when this player is, you know, running amok or whatever, and then, you know, he causes problems. He's not like that at all. But it just goes to show you how one player can turn a whole city around. It can turn an entire franchise around. And if you cultivate that player and you build around him, you take care of him, well, then you got something special.
Yeah, and by the way, Chris Middleton's an unbelievable story to go along with it, but they don't do this without Giannis. That's the key. I mean, Middleton, as good as he's been, and I love the full circle conversation that the playoffs, that Giannis gave us in this playoffs. Okay? Wait a minute, you can't even finish games. Are you the guy I want with the ball in the last couple of minutes, and then a 50 burger in the last game to clinch it? It was terrific.
And it's like we were talking about before you got in here, Kendrick Perkins is saying how Milwaukee could be the next dynasty. And it's like, well, you just called him Robin a couple weeks ago. You called Giannis Antetokounmpo Robin and said Chris Middleton's Batman. What are we doing right now, Perkins?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's hard to do. I mean, listen, the Warriors were so stacked.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of things did fall in place at the right time. They hit their peak at the right time. They found their stride at the right time. There was a game here or there that changed the tide, you know, and they got lucky with the injury not being as severe as everybody thought it was, and it looked. I mean, that was devastating at the moment.
Well, and they also got lucky with Trae Young. Gets hurt, you know, literally steps on the ref's ankle. They get lucky with Kyrie Irving rolling his ankle and Harden not being I mean, I'm not naive. Like, they were very lucky this playoff run. And I think next year, you got to like Brooklyn. You got to like Golden State. But it still shows you that all it can take is one player to turn everything around. Not to compare Trevor Lawrence to Giannis Antetokounmpo or any other thing, but it's like, hey, it goes to show you if you have that special talent, you take care of them, good things can happen.
Well, you just went to a place and said Trevor Lawrence's name, and because you bring it up, and I think people here in Jacksonville watched that last night, and a lot of folks on Jags Twitter especially were like, see what happens if you win, right? Look at Milwaukee, 65,000. And I want to talk about that scene a little bit relative to other sports and football, but I'm not going to do it right now. But they were like, see what winning does. Was anybody a Milwaukee Bucks fan? Did you know anybody who was a Milwaukee Bucks fan until, other than Austin maybe, until like the last few weeks or last couple of days? And now everybody you see on Facebook's like, I was born in Milwaukee.
No, but see, and that's why I posted that video on Twitter after the game, because when they got beat by the Raptors, a bunch of people showed up to the airport to say thank you, Giannis, we'll be back and all that stuff. So, no, Milwaukee Bucks fans have always been there. Now, yes, it was amplified this year with the Deer District because they came out in full numbers. Now, had friends go there, heard it was a blast, kind of jealous I didn't get to go. But at the same time, and I think Van Gundy alluded to this a little bit, I'm sure Fauci right now is not the biggest fan of the Deer District. Maybe COVID-20, COVID-21, and 22 are going to come out of the Deer District. But nevertheless, yeah, it goes to show you when you have an MVP player like Giannis and you have a chance to win a title, what it can do for the city, and everybody comes out.
And so the real question, again, is not necessarily about how much the crowd will come out if we win. I think the Jaguars know that if this and I think the city knows that. This place will be on fire. It was on fire for a few months in 17 and 18 for sure. But it can be. And is Trevor Lawrence that guy? I mean, is really – I think it is fascinating to look at Milwaukee and look at what we just witnessed. And over the few years, it didn't happen bam like that. I mean, Giannis didn't just jump in here. Chris Middleton didn't just jump in here. This was a bit of a process. They stayed patient through it. They got better and better. A couple MVP awards, Defensive Player of the Year award, best regular season record, all those things. And then they got here. If you look at Kansas City, when they got Patrick Mahomes, it wasn't like, boom, right away, they were Super Bowl champs. They knocked on the door. They lost to the Patriots in overtime, and then they won it, and now they're back. I mean, now that was a pretty meteoric rise anyway, but it doesn't just happen overnight. But the steps that start to take place happen kind of, they begin overnight, and then you can start projecting a little bit. I think many people projected this kind of day for the Milwaukee Bucks some 3-4 years ago. Yeah. You always wonder if it's going to happen. And I think that's kind of what's happening in Jacksonville right now. Do they have that kind of guy that he shows us something in 2021 as the football season is about to embark that we can grab onto and be like, oh, boy, it's coming. It's coming. Now, I don't know if it's 2 years down the road. I know 4 years down the road, but this is the guy that's going to take the organization there. Can you cultivate it? Can you bring him along? That is a real question in Jacksonville. That's not just pie-in-the-sky stuff. That is real with Trevor Lawrence.
Well, and it's another great example, too, of a city and a franchise taking care of their star player in Patrick Mahomes. Right now, yes, once again, they groomed him along. One could say that they took a chance on him a little bit, right, because there's other names out there.
Yeah, and they didn't necessarily need it at the time.
Exactly, because you had Alex Smith. But, Andy Reid gets his guy, and what do? They sit him for the year. He comes out the second year and blows the doors off the entire NFL. But then what do? They re-sign Travis Kelce. They re-signed Tyreek Hill. Oh, someone we need a left tackle? Let's go after Orlando Brown, get up some draft capital. Like Kansas City, they're always reloading, and they're always trying to do their part to make sure Patrick Mahomes has all the tools to succeed. Now they give him a new contract. Now he's like part owner of the Kansas City Royals or whatever. Like Patrick Mahomes is ingrained now in the city of Kansas City, and it just goes to show you once again, when you take care of your players, when you build around your players, and you cherish what you got, good things can happen.
Yeah, and so we'll see about – it is funny to draw comparisons. Like, there are some teams that win. Like the Lakers, we can't compare whatever the Lakers did last year to what the Jags could do, right? The Chiefs have been one of those teams that you can. And because, quite honestly, they started around the same time in the same hole, 2-14 hole back in 2013. So we've been able to kind of compare and contrast, and the Jags have been the contrast instead of the compare, really. But sometimes the championship teams give you a model of what it could look like, and I think there are many teams in the NFL right now that you could sit there and say, hey, could the Jags be like Buffalo in a few years? And that what they've done in projecting. Could they be like Kansas City now? They've got the guy at quarterback. All right, we don't go to New England and say, do they have Brady and Belichick? Hey, maybe Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence over the next 6, 7, 8 years are like that. Who knows? But I think that's far-fetched. People don't want to go there. They're realistic about it. But in other sports, you can say, hey, can we take that kind of road? And I think Milwaukee is the latest example of a road where the Jags can say, we can take that kind of road. From the energy around the place and the success to the one big-time player that helped turn it around.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe the Jags are the Milwaukee Bucks in a handful of years.
No, for sure. And that's what the Milwaukee Bucks are right now, especially in the NBA, but for other franchises alike. They're the cultivators of hope right now. Because if you're in Atlanta and you see Trae Young, you're feeling good about yourself.
Absolutely.
Now. Hey, let's go ahead and build around Trae Young. If you're in Dallas and assume that they re-sign Luka, well, now you feel good about being a Dallas Mavericks fan because all you got to do is have Luka and you build around him. And like that's giving teams hope now. Like I grew up with the Miami Heat and that whole run, and then I grew up with Golden State and everything. And it's like, yeah, it's fun to watch. And truth be told, Golden State, I mean, they drafted well. You know, they had Steph Curry. They had Draymond Green, you know, Klay Thompson. But then what do? They bring over Kevin Durant, and then they're almost unbeatable. But it gives other teams hope, I feel like, and it makes the narrative, I think, change a little bit now where it's like we don't need to have these super teams to be successful. We need a star player and, you know, quality role players who all know their jobs, and good things can happen.
Yeah, and I think you could make the case some teams are like the Nets do you have too many stars, right? We wondered that about Golden State. They were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's not a fair question in totality with the Nets because they were hurt a lot of the time.
Correct.
But you still wonder it. You know, Harden, Durant, Kyrie Irving, can they all gel together enough to win? Until they do it, we'll ask that question.
Yeah.
Fascinating NBA Finals. I thought it really delivered. It gave us a lot of storylines and really one of the cool superstar athletes we have now in sports. And one of the coolest we've seen in a long time is Giannis. The best part about it, this guy's so humble, soft-spoken. You want to go give the guy a hug, but I love the fact that he's not afraid in an interview to drop an F-bomb here or there, too, right?
Yeah.
He keeps it real.
Yeah, he keeps it real, but then he also says when he left the game early in Game 5 or whatever, he had to go tinkle. Who says that, though?
My mom.
Okay, well, there you go.
Mom. My mom's the only person that ever says, I've got to go tinkle.
Yeah. Like, he said that. I'm like, man, good thing you have more MVP because I'm cringing so hard at that, dude.
Too cool for school, Giannis, that's for sure. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Some not so great news about one of the legends in college football. I'll have the latest on Bobby Bowden coming up next on ESPN 690.
As 30 days, save about $3,000 in closing costs, and enjoy championship service at every step. So you're as happy buying your home as the day you move in. Well, almost. Apply or learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
An essential part of starting and running a business is managing cash flow. This involves not just generating sales revenue, but also securing financing, handling expenses, and ensuring there is working capital in order to reinvest. At SCORE, we offer advice and can direct you to resources to help address these issues. Since 1964, SCORE has helped more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. We provide free one-on-one mentoring, a library of online information, and a series of timely webinars. Go to jacksonville.score.org to see how we can assist you today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Hey, Wednesday edition of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martin, Austin Lane. Casey. I almost said Casey at the bat. How many people have said that in your life?
Every single one.
Yeah, I thought so. I like to be a little more original than that. Okay, so I'm got a little meeting today, and
You fired?
nope, that was yesterday's.
Okay.
Might be fired. Who knows? But not as of now, I'm not.
It's good to have you still.
So I was at a meeting and trying to make this place some dollars. And we're having this conversation, and Florida State came up. And, of course, we're the home of Florida State football and basketball, as you know, here in Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
ESPN 690. And name Bobby Bowden comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And this person says just every nice accolade you can say about Bobby Bowden, just all-world human being. Mm-hmm. And half hour later, get out of there, and I see this news about Bobby Bowden, the legendary Florida State head football coach, of course. He has a condition that is terminal.
Yeah.
And released a statement today to the Tallahassee Democrat. Says he's at peace with it. He's now 91 years old. Of course, been out of football now for more than a decade. And we go from talking about a guy like Giannis at 26 years old that everybody's kind of put their arms around and give this giant hug to as an athlete and superstar athlete. Mm-hmm. And there might be no better person to do the same thing to than Bobby Bowden at 91 years old in the sport of college football. And I think almost every person on the planet would say it. Yeah. Has always, even at a younger, and this even predates me, but I would say always since I've been alive, has been that almost grandfather pop kind of figure of college football, and all-world good guy. And fortunately, I had the chance to be around him a couple occasions. Not super well, like some of the other folks in this market that covered Florida State back in the day a little bit more, but just a tremendous human being. So sad news on one respect, but it's almost like Bobby Bowden, like he did for so many decades while he coached Florida State Seminoles, made us almost all feel better about the condition that he is in and the family's going through by saying, hey, I'm at peace with this, man. My life's been a blessing. And we don't really know the specifics of the illness. He did have a bout with COVID back in October, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And he's 91 years old, obviously. Yeah. So it's weird. It's obvious sad news, but when you say the name Bobby Bowden, almost no matter the news, I feel like people smile a little bit.
No,
and he kind of made you smile today, even amidst the sad news.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And it's obviously when you hear that name, you can reflect on all the great things that he did for the sport of college football. And I guess to me, like that's the tough thing because obviously it was all over Twitter and I saw it as I was coming here to the station. Like when we talk about like famous coaches or even like famous players, like we always picture them in their prime. We picture them at their best. We see them on the sidelines, maybe chewing somebody out or celebrating. But it's like you said, he seemed like the grandfather of college football coaches. And like when you mention the name Bobby Bowden, like that's where I go. You know, like as a kid growing up, like Florida State, you know, I mean, they were Florida State. So like obviously I knew who Bobby Bowden was. And now you hear, you know, and once again, you don't have a lot of details exactly what it is, but, you know, it's not the best news in the world. But like, you know, you don't want to see anybody go out like that. But like, especially a guy like you think of on the sidelines and being lively and boisterous, you know, it's always a hard one to swallow, you know? So, yeah, I mean, like you echoed a little bit. I mean, he's 92 years old, and then that guy has lived lives upon lives, it seems like, with all that he's accomplished. But still sad news at the end of the day.
Yeah, so he's diagnosed with a terminal medical issue is the story, and it came out about 2 o'clock today. Here's, if you're just a young person and don't know the true history of Bobby Bowden, well, hit Google for one, but here it is. Built FSU is FSU football, really, at the heart of it. 377 wins, 2 national titles, 12 ACC championships, 14 consecutive top 4 finishes. 14 consecutive top 4 finishes in college football. Say that out loud a few times. That's not top 4 in the state of Florida. That's not top 4 in the ACC. That's top 4 in all of college football for 14 consecutive years. And so thoughts, of course, with Bobby Bowden, and a lot of love coming in throughout the college football world and the sports world with all the ACC media days and SEC media days going on. A lot of reaction. But maybe the reaction where I kind of say this, where almost he makes you smile a little bit, is he says, I'm at peace with it. My life's been a blessing. I think about this, first of all, Bobby Bowden hasn't passed. The news is it's a terminal illness. One of the big reasons, and he admitted to this, that he wanted to hang on to coaching. And if you go back to that time frame, where he played coached his final game right here in the Gator Bowl, by the way. Before that, those kind of tumultuous years where some were saying, hey, we got to move on. We got to go in a different direction. And the other side's like, man, we can't say goodbye to Bobby Bowden. We're not saying goodbye to he can go out on his own terms. I mean, that was a huge topic in Tallahassee. Then Jimbo Fisher ended up taking over and obviously won a national title, and now Florida State has been where it's been. But that's kind of the sequence of events. One of the big reasons back then of why Bobby Bowden did not want to say so long to the sidelines was because of Bear Bryant. Yeah. And the story of Bear Bryant, where soon after he left coaching, he passed. And he was frightened by that concept, that idea. What will I do without football?
Yeah, man.
And I think about that a lot when I've seen interviews with Bowden, or I see him on the golf course over the last 10 to 12 years. And I think such a blessing for Bowden to go play some golf every day, or live his life, write a book, do some speaking engagements, and continue to live his life. Because if that was a fear of his, it didn't play out that way. I mean, this is over a decade ago now. They left the sidelines, and he still got to enjoy life with his family and everything else. So I think about that a lot with Bowden. I think a lot of coaches fear that. I asked that question a lot about coaching. I said, my goodness, you got plenty of money. You look at your resume, look at your mantle. Why would you still do it? Why are you still doing this at 70-something years old? Why? I mean, okay, 67, 68, but like Saban, are you going to be doing this until you're 80? Like I get it's a part of you, but do you need to? Go play some more golf. Go to a cruise. Go to that world cruise that I talked about. Go do something. And it sounds like Bobby Bowden got a chance to do a lot of that before this latest illness in the news today.
When you talk about Bowden and you compared him, to Bear Bryant, don't you get the sense, though, that those guys were kind of cut from a different cloth? Like nowadays, like I understand if you're a coach at any collegiate level, whatever sport it is, like, I'm sure it's hard to walk away because you feel like, that's all you have. But I feel like when we talk about guys like with Bowden, or if you go back to the Bear Bryant area, like that generation, those guys are cut from that cloth. It's almost like, if you're not working towards something, then what are you doing?
True.
It's like I don't got time to golf because I should be doing something else. Like my grandpa is like he's built the exact same way, where he's got to always be doing something. Like,
that's right.
There's no time for vacations. We got to be working towards something. And I kind of felt that with Bowden a little bit towards the end of his career, just because he didn't want to let it go. Not to say that these new school coaches, quote unquote, are any different, but I'm just saying I think growing up in a different generation, like, that's how you were wired. That's how you were built.
Yeah, I think you're right about that too. And it's something I think, again, I just said that I've raised that question. I'm like, man, why are you still coaching? Why the stress of this? I mean, why? But you don't want to get away from it. It's like it's a player that retires that says, hey, I don't get that locker room camaraderie ever again in my life. I don't get that level of competition ever again in my life. And that's like that with the coaching world as well. It's what you do. It's who you are. It's what you are. It's in your DNA. So it actually makes some sense. And as I get a little bit older, I see it in two different worlds, and I say kind of the same thing. One is like if you watch your parents as they head toward retirement. Yeah. And like, I know, like, my dad, forever, I was like, man, that guy's going to retire. He can't wait to retire. Like, growing up, I was like, he's the guy who wants to retire. Back when I was growing up, it was like 55 was the age of retirement. Like, that's when it seemed like everybody was starting to retire. Well, now it's even a lot later than that. But my dad gets to like 67, and he's like, I'll keep working. I don't even really like it, but I'm going to do it because what the hell else would I do? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the thing. And so that's what a lot of people are like that. So many people I know that are of the older ages, they still go get a part-time job somewhere, or they do something to stay busy because they're used to working so much, to your point. Then there's like this other side of it. I see it on the other side now. I see it on like the young kids that we follow that commit, like in football and basketball and all the rest, early. Like if you're committing in your 8th grade year, your 9th grade year, there's a little lack of what you just said. What do you have to look forward to? Like, where's the carrot? I mean, you got to wait 5 years to get on your college football field or baseball field, or 4 years or whatever it might be. And it kind of comes full circle to that says, hey, man, I want to keep doing this because I want to be chasing something. Yeah. I want to be chasing that title. It's not chasing my legacy. It's not chasing another win, 378 wins instead of 377. No, it's bringing these young men along. It's beating that guy across the sideline. It's, chasing those competitive juices. And I think at every phase of life, people do that, I guess I have a little bit more appreciation for it even now, like where I used to say, why are these guys still doing it? Yeah. That's part of the reason that they still do it. I just love the fact that Bobby Bowden, now at 91 years old, was able to do it for as long as he did, kind of leave under his own watch, basically, and then still live a really good life after the fact of golf and family and all the rest, and sharing the stories, because there's very few better storytellers in the world than Bobby Bowden. He's got plenty of stories to share. So on a sad day for Florida State fans that the clock is ticking, I just think it's hard not to talk about Bobby Bowden and smile a little bit and appreciate what he brought to the game. And
then that's the dude that he was. He forces you to do that, and that goes to show you the type of guy that he is. Yeah. So we'll keep you updated if anything changes. Again, not a lot of information on the Bobby Bowden front other than it's a terminal condition, and he released a statement today along with his family. So best wishes to the Bowden family and Knowles fans, of course, not only in Jacksonville, but all over the state of Florida and all over the country and world, certainly chiming in with their best thoughts for the legendary Bobby Bowden. A lot more to get to here on a Wednesday edition of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. What's happening in the football world as camps start to happen? We talked about joint practices. There are teams that are doing joint practices. Some are doing multiple joint practices. It's also Austin's last day because fight week is here. We're there,
and it's almost time. So we're going to get a little look at this fight coming up on Saturday night. And not the only local guy on the card.
No, man.
By the way,
one of my teammates.
Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up throughout the remainder of the show. And our Camp Battle segment continues. We go defensive line and break down what's going to happen with the defensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still on the way, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
It's Wednesday. I'm Casey Kurtz. The wait is over for Milwaukee. The Bucks are champions.
It's been 50 years. That makes it all that much sweeter. And ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 NBA champions, your Milwaukee Bucks.
That was Adam Silver postgame. Brent and Austin will break it all down today on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 from 3 until 6. A pretty cool Olympic moment is upcoming for current Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp infielder Eddie Alvarez. Alvarez was selected to be a United States and USA basketball legend Sue Bird, who will also carry the flag. Alvarez and the United States baseball team will get going in Tokyo next week with their first game against Israel, who also have a member of the Jumbo pitcher, Jake Fishman. This Sports Center up Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
The Max Kellerman Show.
You know, there was no one there like, hey, where's that guy we just hired? He just stopped showing up suddenly 15 years ago. So you got to wait at 650 G's. And now he's being sued. I don't know. You can't just not show up for work, but if he's not like doing anything fraudulent and they're just sending him the checks, I mean, why wouldn't he just deposit it in his account?
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
As a business owner, time wasted is money lost.
Ugh, I have to call Dave. That's like 10 numbers.
Who has time for that? You should boop Dave instead.
Dave's married.
Push to Talk is back from Peak PTT, and with a boop, you can get in touch with Dave. One boop. Peak PTT sends your phones programmed, charged, and ready to go right out of the box. You can boop Dave, boop Paul, boop Sheila.
Yeah, I could see Boop and Sheila.
Nationwide. Then you can boop the heck out of Dave.
I said Sheila.
Connect immediately, every time. BoopToTalk.com.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough. And the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you. So you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here in the Sunshine State, more than 3 million men are over age 45, and over half suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Brown. If you're having problems in the bedroom and pills like Viagra have let you down, you'll see results at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your exam is free. And it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. Guaranteed results on your first visit or your exam is free. Call 904-664-8217.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough. And the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you. So you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Jacksonville Sharks season is coming to a close, and ESPN 690 is giving you a chance to go to the last home game of the season this Saturday, July 24th at VyStar Veterans Arena. For your chance to win a pair of tickets to the game, go to the contest page on ESPN690.com.
Hey, Deion, I was just wondering if you could...
hold on. Let's back up a little bit. You don't call Nick Saban Nick. You don't call me Deion. Okay?
I call Nick Saban Nick.
No, you don't. That's a lie. If you call Nick Nick, you know you get cussed out on the spot. So don't do that. Treat me like Nick.
Okay, Deion.
All right.
I mean, at least he stuck by his guns and called him Deion again.
I don't know.
That was impressive.
I will say this. That's the one part of it where I think I side a little bit with Deion on this.
Okay.
I think Deion should take some heat. But I think now, and in fairness to the reporter, and if you're just jumping in on this was a story like late last night at the media days. Jacksonville State, of course, Deion Sanders, if you didn't know, he's the head coach, football coach. He's done a pretty nice job over there, And I mean, he had a weird year last year with COVID and had the spring season. I think he went 4-3. But I think he's got some good things going. And, who knows where it's going exactly, but it's interesting.
I mean, he's only helping the HB, CUs.
Absolutely.
Because he's putting eyes on those colleges.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of good things. And I'm not a Deion Sanders hater by any means. But most of my opinion here is going to be like, really, Deion? But I will say this. That sounded so jokingly that I thought the reporter was like just joking, kind of coming back with, all right, Deion.
Yeah.
But there might have been also the snarky nature of some reporters and some, people that were like, yeah, whatever, Deion. I'm going to call you Deion again. Almost like the whole Chris Everett, Jim Rome thing.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of a feel like that, remember?
Oh, no, for sure.
You know that. That's
of course.
That's epic.
Yeah, but to be fair, he did he called him a different name. Like he called Deion by Deion.
I know, but he also said, don't call me that again, and he called him it again.
He did. That's
so
true.
From that sense, he was like, don't call me that again, and this guy called him that again. It had a little bit of that to me. And so if that's where the reporter was just trying to be like this sarcastic guy and thinks he's funny, then I can't ride with him on that. I think the whole thing sounded like such a joke that I think the reporter was kind of playing along with the joking stuff, not even taking him serious. Like that was my kind of view. Now, Deion's all over the place on this. Deion, first of all, says that's not how it went down, and then he shares like a video where it's exactly
trolling.
how it went down.
I know, but then you see the one where he's like trolling?
Yes, where it's like dancing
yeah.
at the end of it. Which, by the way, was kind of a funny video. But
okay. Some people.
But did you see he put Jacksonville State at the end of it? He knows exactly what he's doing. There's very few athletes in our recent memory that have understood branding, commercialization, all that stuff like Deion. Deion was very early into that. He knew that stuff. He knew how to do it. And it's almost like he's brought that element to Jacksonville State, even with his tweet earlier today.
Yeah.
By putting their logo at the end of it.
Yeah.
And they've kind of known that they're going to have to embrace a little bit of that, or that comes with the territory. Mm-hmm. But Deion, you've won 4 games. And now there are all these videos of reporters calling Nick Saban Nick.
Oh, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so at least if you're going to stand on that hill, at least know what hill you're on.
Yeah.
And he's not correct on that hill.
No.
So it was a weird thing. And it felt a little Deion being Deion. I mean, Deion can be annoying at times. It's just very that kind of selfish brand nature. He played like that. He had that flair to him, as a brand. It was fun and entertaining as well, though. So we got to be careful how we look at that. And sometimes I still think it comes out. I think he means really well for that university and for the kids and who he's trying to impact. I really do. But I think sometimes he goes, this was a bad look on Deion. This didn't help anybody, I don't think.
No, it's definitely a bad look on Deion. But at the same time, I would be a hypocrite if I said, well, that was a very selfish move on Deion Sanders' part. Well, of course it was selfish, but guess what? We're in the sport of college football. Look at how all these college football coaches act.
That's true.
And then tell me if they're selfish or not. Whether it's, the tweets. I remind of Lane Kiffin all the time when he goes on Twitter. The guy in terms of trolling and in terms of using that platform to get laughs, he's one of the best to do it. And some people find it funny. Some people think it's inappropriate. So be it. I mean, is that going to be the difference between getting that 5-star player or not? I don't know. Just like if my son was interested in going to Jackson State, would I say, well, don't go now because Deion did this? Probably not. But at the same time, there has to be the fine line between being letting the narrative be all about you as a coach and more about the program.
Yeah.
And then that's where I just listen, once again, he's doing great things for that university, but I hope it doesn't get to the narrative where it's all about Deion and not about the university.
Yeah, and maybe there's a part, again, I think he is very smart on this stuff. The kind of smart where I even thought Jalen Ramsey had a little bit of that in him, where he's very calculated and almost could see down the road very well.
Yes.
And I wonder a lot of times what Deion does is that kind of calculated, where he knows for the first 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, yeah, it's going to have to be a me thing. But you watch the attention the university gets, you watch the players that want to come here, and then we can kind of turn it and make it about the university and about the players and about the program.
Yeah.
But it's got to be all about me right now if we're going to do this and it's going to succeed. I am the reason people know Jacksonville State exists. And there is an element of that. And I think he understands that. I do. I think this is part of his game. I think he's really smart at that. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. And it comes out. It's debatable a lot of times. It's a reason why we can bring it up here and be like, man, that was a bad look. I mean, come on, Deion. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It did. As a media member who's interviewed a lot of coaches, I sometimes catch myself on this topic because there's an old guard that either doesn't – a lot of folks don't like the fact if you say coach or they want you to call the first name.
But you also call him Coach Prime, Brent. You call him by a nickname is what he wanted.
Well, that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the folks in the media, the older media, I would say, I say coach sometimes. Like I'll say Coach Meyer or hey, coach.
Yeah, I say coach all the time.
I think when Gus was around, I feel like I did say Gus a little bit more, or even Doug a little bit more. I think I might have said coach even around Coughlin, who wasn't even the coach. Mm-hmm. I think just because of his age, it felt that way. And I wasn't here when everybody knew him on that level as a head coach of the Jaguars. So I find I don't really put too much thought into it. There's really no rhyme or reason, but sometimes it just comes out a certain way, and I really don't care about it. Mm-hmm. But I do think there's media members that might be like, why'd you just call him coach? Call him Urban.
Yeah.
Or, there are some folks that are covering the Jags beat now that know Urban so well from the Gator beat that they'll call him Herbs.
Yeah. Which is, I hear you.
But that'd be like Urban Meyer being like, hey, dude, don't call me Herbs.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, with all due respect, fine. Let me ask you this question. So if you're conducting an interview with Deion Sanders, and let's say you call him Deion, and he says call him Coach Prime, well, we just echoed on it. Like the guy, I forgot the guy's name. I think he's from Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
the Ole Miss reporter. Yeah. He called him Deion again. Like, would you do that, or would you call him Coach Prime? Would you call him Coach? Well, what would you do in that situation?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done the Deion thing.
Yeah, you would have just respected him and been like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I think that again, my view on that part was snarky, sarcastic, disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I just, by nature, I'm not confrontational in that setting.
Yeah,
and so I don't think I would have done that. I don't want to be part of the story.
True.
He kind of made himself a little bit a part of the story by doing that, in my estimation.
Yeah.
Whether it was purposeful or not.
Yeah.
So, hey, big news. I got this question a bunch. When are the Jags practicing? Is it open for fans? Guess what? Just came out.
Uh-oh.
We have the dates. What's the latest?
Stick around.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We go there at 4 o'clock when we come back.
Hey, boss, did you see this article in the Crooks R Us newsletter about the ding-dong doorbell cameras?
What'd they do now?
Apparently, they automatically enroll the user in some internet sharing network with their neighbors.
What? That can't be real.
It is real. They even have a name for it. Do a search for sidewalk sharing. You can read all about it.
So you're telling me that all the ding-dong doorbell cameras on any given block are sharing internet with each other?
Yep. So if a hacker gets into one, they could have access to them all.
Does SafeTouch Security do that?
Boss, SafeTouch doesn't do that with their customer security. With SafeTouch, everything's encrypted.
I knew that. I was just testing you.
Well, it's just another reason we got the Crooks R Us golden rule.
Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Yeah, we'll call that one reason number 143.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Greg McGarity. The future of college football is now, and our primary goal is to position the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl and Jacksonville to be prepared for a potential college football expansion. And we need you, our local business leaders, to join our team and showcase that Jacksonville supports college football. Gator Bowl Sports has opportunities for all companies, whether you have 5 employees or 5,000. I would love to meet you and talk about our future. If you'd like to learn more, contact me at 904-798-1700.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For 50 years, Taylor has been a leader in caring for the elderly. Providing quality, compassionate care has always been our mission. At Taylor Care Center and Taylor Manor, our recipe for success has always been our exceptional team. They work tirelessly to ensure that your family member gets the best care possible. When residents were not able to spend time with you and your family, our team stepped up to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. Our dedicated staff is among the best in the business. Taylor Residents, providing safe, compassionate care every day.
It's time for some straight talk. We've all been there. You have some real work to do, but the free Wi-Fi where you're working isn't going to cut it. It's like leaving the winning runner stranded on third base. Not good. Well, now you can be your own hotspot with Straight Talk's Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get 10 gigs of hotspot data for just $55 a month. All on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi at this hour. ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting. All-Pro linebacker Fred Warner is getting a big extension. 5 years, $95 million, $40 million guaranteed. He's tied to San Francisco through the 2026 season. Roger Federer, Naomi Osaka, both in the singles fields for next month's U.S. Open. Federer withdrew from the Olympics with a knee injury. Osaka skipped Wimbledon and withdrew from the French Open, saying she needed to prioritize her mental health. Name, image, and likeness among the topics addressed by Alabama coach Nick Saban at SEC Media Days today. Whether teams will be impacted positively or negatively by it is a big unknown, according to Saban.
It's not going to be equal, and everything that we've done in college athletics in the past has always been equal. Everybody's had equal scholarship, equal opportunity. Now that's probably not going to be the case. You know, some positions, some players will have more opportunities than others.
Yesterday, Saban said Bryce Young is already approaching $1 million in endorsement deals. He is the presumptive favorite to be the Crimson Tide's starting quarterback this season.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Casey's really good at this, by the way. We'll be talking in the middle of a commercial break, and he won't pop those mics open until we're done. He's good at reading that. I'm impressed.
Dude's on point, man.
He's really good at that.
Do we got a nickname for him yet?
Nah.
Taking the show to new heights. Call him Casey Spacem. Getting ready in the bullpen.
Casey Spacem.
Bullpen getting ready to come out. Call him Casey Lacem. Like the cleats, you know what I'm saying?
No,
okay,
I got
okay. I'm just making sure we're on the same page.
Laces on a ball.
Yeah.
Seems.
Yeah.
Really. Casey with a K.
Casey with a K. Casey always, quick and fast to come up with good topics. Casey Racem. I mean, I can go on for days and days, dude.
That might be a little dangerous, that one.
Casey didn't even dawn on me till now.
Did you have a nickname in high school or anything?
Yes, actually. Big Country.
Oh, Big Country.
I mean, that because I actually know a big country as well.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows a big country.
Yeah, of course you do.
Everyone knows a big country.
I mean, how tall are you?
Like 6'5".
Are you 6'5"?
Yeah.
Big
really?
kid.
6'5".
Big dude, man.
I also don't stand up straight like I like.
I mean, have you noticed I had never made fun of him yet? Because with Kuz, with all due respect to Kuz, easy target.
Yeah.
I don't want the repercussions of Casey. Yeah. Look like Shaggy. Shots fired by Brett Martineau. With Casey, man, it's just like, intimidation.
Yeah. I didn't 6'4", though. I didn't realize you were 6'4", 6'5". Yeah, so that will do it. 6'4", 6'5". I mean, is Palmetto, like, Sarasota, is that country? Like,
I mean, there are parts, but no, I just, I mean, I listen to country music, I guess. But
do you chew? Do you dip? Or can you not say that on the air?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Do you put a little chaw in every once in a while?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you don't? Do you hunt?
No.
Do you fish?
A little bit.
But
I used to fish with my dad, but I don't do it like as an activity.
So yeah, not really country then.
I know. So just big.
Just big. I mean, yeah, just big.
Big C? I don't know.
Big K.
Big C? High C?
I
don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll get it going.
We'll figure it out.
Hey, do you have you got the Jaguars app? And I don't know if the press release has come out yet, but did you see which practices are open?
Don't you have sources for these things, by the way?
Sources?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I got a heads up on the text. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the app or from actually a text?
No, from a text.
Okay, cool.
So it looks like we got Thursday, July 29th. Season ticket holders only on July 30th. 31st on a Saturday. And then August 6th on a Friday. August 7th on a Saturday, and then there's a scrimmage on August 8th, all open.
Okay, so they're going to front load this thing, which makes some sense. And let's do that again. Don't put that away. So camp technically starts. We should get the full release. Might already be in my inbox, but the camp will start in a week from today, right? Rookies reported already on Tuesday. Veterans are reporting next Tuesday. Camp will start a week from today. And a lot of times that first camp practice will be open.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like it's going to be the case unless they're actually not going to start camp until Thursday. But Thursday will be the first open practice for fans. Doesn't look like there's any restrictions there or limitations, Casey, from what you can tell.
Other than the 1 day season ticket holders only. But
That's
as
it.
for access, it does not look like
Yeah,
it.
so there's probably going to be a way to sign up and do that on Jaguars.com and register. That has been like that in the past.
Cool.
I expect huge crowds, by the way, at Jags training camp practices, especially since there are only going to be 6 of them that are open. The Friday one is for season ticket members only. Now, they've sold a lot of season tickets, so there still should be a pretty good crowd, but it's a nice perk for those who have season tickets. Then it will be Saturday as well, and then the following Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, that scrimmage is going to be inside the stadium. That's an annual event.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll give you a little sneak peek. There's a decent chance you might be able to catch an hour of that thing on TV as well on Fox 30.
Okay.
So working on that. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that, but we're working on it.
Dang. What is it, like a spring game or something? That's cool.
Yeah. So that'll be a little, for folks that can't make it out.
Yeah.
That could be an opportunity to see it. It'll be streamed on Jaguars.com and also probably on ActionNewsJax.com as well. But so there you go. Only like 6 practices, but at least some. And this is the trend around the league. The teams that have announced it's just like a handful of practices or so that not every practice like in years past.
That's very cool. I mean, like, as far as, I think it's a legitimate question this year. Like, is there a cap every day at training camp for how many people can actually go then?
There is. I think that's why they do the registration now.
Okay.
I don't know the number, but they will sell out.
Yeah.
Like, they can only put so many people in there.
Okay.
And I go back to that one, I feel like it was rookie minicamp around Bortles time, and I might be wrong about the time frame, but I just remember it was like that old scene of people peeking through the fences, man. It was like that old scene of, like, in the 40s, people watching baseball games through the fences.
Sure.
That's what it was. I mean, they were so overcrowded with people that people were, like, trying to look under the fence at the team and some of the practice. It was really kind of neat. I don't know what the number is. I'd be totally guessing and spitballing. I don't know what the number is. I don't know if there will be some restrictions in terms of years past versus the numbers of this year because of COVID-19. Bottom line is 6 open practices, one of them to season ticket members, and you better start looking on your calendar and make sure you do all the things you got to do to get there.
Now, for the family night or whatever, like the scrimmage night, you gave
It'll actually be like a morning.
Oh, it's a morning. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, you gave a little bit of an appetizer, if you will, and said it's going to be a little bit maybe on Action Sports Jax.
Yeah, on Fox 30.
Fox 30, very cool. So will you be on the sidelines? Would you be actually maybe calling this, bro? What are we
It's
talking
basically
here?
going to be a little bit, if that does go, it will be a little bit of a run at kind of like a dry run for the broadcast crew for preseason games.
Gotcha.
So maybe I will be a part of it. Definitely, I think there will be some play-by-play capacity to it. And I don't know how much they've announced, so I probably shouldn't say too much.
Okay.
But, yeah, it'll be fun. Listen, this is about – we've kind of put the Jags down for a little bit over the last couple of months, and I don't mean put them down in a bad way. I'm just saying we've kind of we talked so much about it, the draft and all this new stuff, and it was an everyday topic, and it's always a topic here in Jacksonville. But as we've come out of the summer now, and now we're on the doorstep of training camp, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on. I mean, the buzz around here about this team. I mean, you talk to, heck, I can talk to our salespeople in TV land and here on radio and stuff. There's a buzz. There's just a buzz about the Jags, and it's all over the Southeast. You know, I talked to somebody today that, like, they're people calling from different states to get the Jags games on, you know, on some of the radio stations and other things because of Trevor and because of the urban and because of the buzz. I mean, there is a distinct buzz about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So even if you only get a sneak peek at them in training camp, I think people are going to be lined up at the door to do so.
I know, at least I'm sure, I would say record has a lot to do with it. But when we're talking like the first couple weeks of the regular season, do you think, like, I guess the proximity of like people that will be able to watch the Jaguars game, you know, like for instance, like usually it's just, okay, it's Jacksonville and it's neighboring cities and that's about it. Like, do you think they're going to open up the floodgates a little more in terms of, well, maybe in South Carolina you can watch the Jaguars game during that time slot?
Well, here's the one thing. For the preseason games, I think we already know the Monday night game is going to be on ESPN.
Yeah.
CBS 47 and Fox 30 locally will have the other 2 games, okay? And I believe I saw that the NFL Network is covering like 23 preseason games, and the Jags' other 2 games against Cleveland and against Dallas are on the NFL Network.
Okay.
So to your point, anybody's going to be able to watch the Jags. How much of that is the NFL Network just picking up some games? How much of that is Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence? I think that's debatable. Listen, NFL Network has plenty of programming hours to fill. The Jags are playing the Cowboys on a Sunday afternoon. There's not many games to choose from on a Sunday afternoon.
True.
So that might be the reason just as much as Trevor and Urban, but it's a good point. The bottom line is this is going to feel as regional as the Jacksonville Jaguars have ever felt. Ever. And a lot of that is because of Trevor Lawrence. If you already have Jacksonville. You can get down to Daytona a little bit. You can go out west to Lake City, of course, and even start heading toward Gainesville. You're going to get those areas as an NFL team that people are going to wear Jag stuff. I think this is going to dip down in Orlando a little bit more, although the Bucs certainly take the cake, especially coming off a Super Bowl with all the Brady stuff.
Sure.
It might be hard to infiltrate that right now, but it's coming where there will be more of, say, Eastern Orlando that will latch onto the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, ETN, Urban Meyer, all that stuff. Gainesville will have more people listening and looking to the Jags than ever before because of Urban, right?
Yeah.
I got to believe that on a Sunday. Southeast Georgia already has a decent amount of Jags. Most of Georgia is Atlanta Falcons fan, but Cartersville, Georgia is Trevor Lawrence's hometown. And up in that pocket, there's going to be a lot of Jags jerseys flying around. Clemson has a big reach. And so Clemson fans, and particularly in Clemson, South Carolina, which is only about 3.5 hours away or so, that is going to be Jags country with ETN and Trevor Lawrence. Now, they've got plenty of other players to choose from, the Deshaun Watsons and everybody else. But when you have 2 rookies playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars just a few hours away, there's going to be high interest in Clemson, South Carolina. This will feel as regional as the Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion, have ever felt. And I wasn't here for the early days. Maybe in the late 90s it started to leak up that way because of their success. I just don't know. I think Trevor has that kind of impact, that Trevor alone is kind of taking the Jaguars north. Up to like South Carolina. Which is kind of cool.
It's really cool.
Because you got to remember, once you get past South Carolina a little bit, now you're buffering on Charlotte and Carolina Panthers territory. But there's really, if you look down the coast, it's Panthers, it's how far east will the Falcons come? And then there's the Jaguars. I mean, there's plenty of landscape in there for the Jaguars to own from a territorial standpoint. And it's going to be, it's a huge thing around here. It's a huge thing there.
It's exciting. I mean, you could add Zach Wilson where it was like, all right, and get ready Utah and Brigham Young. Hope you guys are ready for a football game. All, 10,000 of your population.
So I've got the release in front of me. You can get more information at jaguars.com/training camp. And let's see, to just give you the bullet points. Advanced registration is required for the camp practices. Space is limited, to your point, which we knew. I mean, it's not going to let 12,000 people in there. Free tickets are available today at jaguars.com/training camp for season ticket members. The general public will have a chance to secure a seat beginning this Friday, July 23rd. So actually, they're going to sell tickets for camp practice. Is that the way I'm reading that?
I thought they were free, but I'll check.
I got to double check that.
Whoa.
But free tickets available today at jaguars.com/training camp for season ticket members. The general public will have a chance to secure a seat beginning this Friday, July 23rd. Open practice, again, if you missed it, Thursday, July 29th, Friday, July 30th for season ticket members only. Saturday, July 31st, NFL Back Together Saturday, they are calling that. And then it's the next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, capped off with a 2021 scrimmage. And I'm hearing that will be in the morning. The times of these practices, gates will open at 9 a.m., scheduled to conclude around noon. So that is as much of the detail as we have right now. Advanced registration is required as seats will be assigned in advance for the scrimmage as well. So you got to register. You got to go to jaguars.com/training camp to get all the details. But that is the latest. I wanted to piggyback on something we talked about a little earlier with the Milwaukee Bucks. That scene was ridiculous, right? The Deer District is awesome. Like, how new is that?
The Deer District? I mean, it was. It's not even really a thing. Like they just put it up because it's right outside the. But
it was
arena.
in like 2019 when they were very good. Was there some of that?
So that scene there, like with the bars and the restaurants and everything, that came about when they built the Fiserv Forum. And they built the Fiserv Forum because, well, Giannis. Like literally, that was because why they built it in the first place. So I want to say that would be, I think, 2 or 3 years old.
Okay, so it's relatively new
for sure.
So I got to thinking that, like, when we talk about Lot J, we talk about some of the development downtown, we take a look at the St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. We saw that scene in St. Louis where they have that kind of like live atmosphere thing. You go to Atlanta, they've got the Battery. That's what that's set up for, too, to kind of be like this gathering place for big games and big parties and pep rallies and stuff like that. I know that's not like a daily event downtown, but that's like a hub for some of that kind of stuff. We have seen now with Milwaukee. We have seen it in other places. My curiosity here, and I might have to do some digging on it, is would that matter? Do we see that in the NFL? And I don't think we do. And there's a couple of reasons why I don't think we do. But we see hockey gatherings. We've seen basketball gatherings. Like, they're not the only place to do it. We see these scenes outside. And not just for championships. Sometimes it's just big playoff games. I mean, that Deer District was hopping the whole time. We've seen it. Wrigley has that whole area right outside Wrigley Field, right?
yeah.
And it's tremendous. And it's packed, and people are watching, and there's outside bars and all this stuff. So, again, this is something that people do in cities all across the country with various sports.
Yeah.
I don't think we see it in football, though.
See, I think football, it's a little different for a few reasons. Number one, larger capacities of stadiums.
Thank you very much. Good job.
And also, too, I think with the tailgating, like, you get that out of your system, like, when you tailgate, and then you all go in together to watch the game. So, like, I just think it's a little different from those two perspectives.
It's a good perspective. I'm going to give you one more.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is the one I really have to check on because I don't know if the rules have changed. But the NFL, I don't believe, allows watch parties.
Oh, really?
Well, at least like team orchestrated watch parties.
Okay.
So something that's like right outside the bank or inside the bank to watch the game, because we've seen that too. Like we've seen, people, hey, come on into whatever, we'll watch the game.
Yeah.
I don't think we see that in the NFL. And somebody can let me know if I'm wrong on that.
The only thing I'm going to say is, well, like, can a sports bar say, hey, we're having a Jaguars?
The sports bar can.
Okay.
The sports bar can invite everybody they want to invite in. The Jags cannot. Like, the Jags cannot at Daly's place say, hey, come watch the playoff game here.
I got you.
I don't think, unless something's changed. But I don't think they can have the watch party.
Okay.
And so if they own some of that land downtown or Lot J area or the Shipyards area, and that's some of theirs, I think they would have to be very careful of that amidst the NFL rules from a watch party standpoint. I think, again, some of those rules may have changed over the years, but you know why the NFL does that is because they want to protect their TV right holders. They want, although if there were 60,000 people outside a stadium watching on one TV, they want all those folks watching from their living room so the ratings are high.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't get credit for 65,000 with one TV outside the stadium, you know?
No, for
But
sure.
you'd get credit for a bunch of ratings with those people all sitting there at home watching the game. So they protect their turf in that regard. But I think you hit it on the head, because what hit me, and as everybody was talking about Milwaukee and look at the fans and how crazy it is, I was like, man, that'd be a wild scene someday. Jags are playing the AFC Championship game, and downtown's built up a little bit, and everybody floods downtown, and they're watching it, and then later they come into the stadium and greet the team like they did after Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
So you have all that. Well, unlikely to happen, I think, on the road because of the watch party rule, at least that exists now. I think.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure. And unlikely to happen on a home game like we saw in Milwaukee, because what you just said, that's a 17,000-seat arena. The stadium here is 65,000. You could have fit almost everybody in Milwaukee last night that was outside and inside into the bank.
Correct.
Right? So that's the big difference around football or it happening right in Jacksonville. But it is a cool scene when it happens from St. Louis to Milwaukee to other places. It's a really neat scene.
And this is the thing, and let's not get ahead of ourselves here too much, but that scene can happen in Jacksonville if you win a Super Bowl, and we're talking about the parade.
Oh gosh.
Then
that's where it happens.
Then you have that scene.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so I want to clarify. I got some a clarification on the tickets.
Okay.
So, the training camp practices are free.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
But it's open this Friday to season ticket members first, and then anything else available can be booked up by anybody. So if you have season tickets, you will be able to go lock in your day, either next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or the following Friday, Saturday, and I think even Sunday, although Sunday probably will open up to more people because it's inside the stadium. Limited seating is there, free regardless, but season ticket members get first crack at those open practices. And so that's the distinction. Okay, so check it out, jaguars.com/training camp. Just announced in the last half hour, Jaguars will have a handful of practices open, plus the scrimmage. The Friday practice next Friday that's open is just for season ticket members. So there are a few different distinctions in there, but I expect those things to go pretty quick. There's a buzz in Jacksonville, as you all know. If you want to attend a practice on one of those mornings, get ready to get on the computer over the next couple of days.
You know, I mean, I'm sure you probably don't know this, but like, is it going to look different this year in terms of training camp just because still with COVID and everything of maybe trying to protect players? Like, will there be autographs and all that stuff? Or
it says
will it be
online,
more blocked off? No
autographs, none of that. You just got to.
It does say that?
Yeah, just kind of watch. And you don't have to wear a mask. Mask is not required. It's encouraged, not required. But no autographs and player interaction.
Nice work, Casey.
That's good,
nice
Casey.
work.
And by the way, that's interesting in itself, just the no masks. It's not like they're asking for vaccination cards or anything like that, but masks are optional. It'll be interesting to see how they space people out. You know, you probably can get a couple thousand people. That might be even a little bit heavy. Again, limited capacity is what they've said. Bottom line is the best thing you can do is probably hit jaguars.com/training camp. I know it'll be up on ESPN690.com, the article where you can get more information, actionnewsjax.com. So just get the information, get it right, because there are going to be a lot of people that want to go see Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Urban Meyer, and you only get a few glimpses at it before the preseason games start.
What is the over-under of amount of practices before Joe Cullen loses his voice? We have 3?
Probably happened like on a boat this summer.
He's going to come in for the first meeting.
Captain.
Horse.
It's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
I'm excited about the buzz. And by the way, I'm really excited that the fans can go to at least a few of the practices. It's a tricky time right now.
Yeah.
It still is a tricky time. You know, I mean, COVID numbers are up, all this stuff and
variants and stuff.
Yeah, you're going to be allowed in to see after last year. It's cool that we're going to be able to get that and feel that buzz here in Jacksonville for a few practices. Get ready for it, and make sure you check out jaguars.com/training camp. More to come, more football talk. At 5 o'clock, by the way, we break down the defensive line position. And do you know there's an expansion draft going on here tonight? We talk about it, not here in Jacksonville, but tonight in sports. We'll be back.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny, hot and humid today. A few afternoon storms develop with highs in the lower 90s, 70 to 75 tonight, and partly sunny and hot tomorrow. Again, a few afternoon storms. Your Thursday high up to 93. With the First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30, Action News Jax.
The Weather Meter is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where you can save up to 40% off with Christmas and July savings now through the 25th.
We ask people what they would do when they get back to their loved ones.
I will hug my mom.
My brother better be ready for that bear hug.
Getting vaccinated is our chance to get back to what we miss so much safely. And for people at higher risk of complications due to diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart conditions, the COVID-19 vaccine is an important choice. Getting back to life. Set your heart on it. It's up to you. For more information, go to heart.org/vaccine. A message from the American Heart Association.
Anyone can talk like they're a big dog, but few actually walk the talk. We're not the only plumbing company claiming same-day water heater service. In fact, a lot of customers have called us after other companies failed to come through on their same-day service talk. Fortunately, Griffin Service delivers. We eat big dogs for lunch. And we fix what others can't. Some of that's knowing the science, engineering, and craft of AC and plumbing better than the Bubbas, but it's also better planning. The key to actually doing same-day water heater replacement is having water heaters in stock and ready to go. And that's what we do. Gas, electric, tank, tankless, we got them all in stock and ready to roll for you. So if you want to avoid the bait and switch turd bucket tactics of the Bubbas, or if you discover you're in the middle of an all talk, no walk situation with a wannabe, well, you know who to call, right?
GriffinService.com.
CMC 1250697.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
If the pandemic taught us one thing, it's the fact that essential jobs are necessary. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin. And when we're talking about essential jobs, I'm talking about automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV, and transportation industry professionals. And this is where my friends at J-Tech come in. J-Tech Institute is a nonprofit organization who understands that to keep the American economy running smoothly, you need to keep these things moving with highly skilled essential employees. So if you're searching for a school that offers the kind of hands-on essential career training that can help move your future in the right direction, then J-Tech is the spot for you. Not only are you going to learn an essential skill, but they also set you up for success, whether it's adjusting to your schedule, school-issued laptops, evening classes, career placement opportunities, and much more. Up to 84% of J-Tech's graduates are employed in the field of their study right after graduation. J-Tech is now enrolling new students for their up-and-coming fall term, so what are you guys waiting for? Call right now at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank, tell him Austin sent you, jtech.org for more.
Personal injury law firm Fair & Fair is now accepting applications for its second annual Empowering Greatness Scholarship Program. Fair & Fair will award 5 rising high school seniors across Florida a 2-year college plan. The plan prepays tuition, registration fees, and 60 credit hours at any of the 28 Florida colleges. To be eligible, students must attend a public or charter school. Visit fairandfair.com/scholarship.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jax on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
One of the things I've heard is that they've done a total deep dive on him. That everything that they could know about Carey Price and his health, they have done the work on it. And at the very least, they've considered it. They've run through all the options. You know, I've had some teams tell me today that they think that they will do it. I've had other teams tell me today that they think that they will pass and maybe take Brett Kulak from defense instead.
What in the world is that guy talking about?
That guy, is that Barry Melrose?
That wasn't Melrose.
No.
Dang. Thought I had
Is
it
that
on
the
Brent.
only hockey guy you could? Was that the only option?
Boutros.
Yeah, Boutros. Good call.
No, it's Elliot Friedman.
Doc Emmerich.
I don't know Doc Emmerich.
Yes, you do.
You don't know Doc Emmerich?
Oh, he's old. I got you.
He calls all the games.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Like the best play-by-play guy on the planet. Maybe.
I know who you're talking about. Okay.
The Seattle Kraken.
Hockey talk, baby. Let's go.
Is that what we not teased going into the break?
I mean, we kind of did. I just was going to say.
I feel like that was the,
It was kind of like for 30 seconds.
I thought it was established. We're talking about the Kraken.
But, yeah, I mean, is this a big deal? Like, it's kind of under the radar. Like, it feels like, how many times in the past, I don't know this, like when the Rays came in, did somebody else come in at the same time?
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah, it was Colorado. I thought it was. You know, the Jags came in, it was Carolina.
Yep.
Seattle's alone here.
Yeah, well, Vegas just came in the last couple years.
So they spread it out.
They did, yes.
Mm-hmm. But that was the plan initially, to spread it out like that and add 2 teams?
No,
or they added Seattle on even
they
after
added Vegas, and they were like, this went well. We'll do it again.
So it is kind of odd, though, to see one team at a time in that sense. I don't know how often that happens. It just feels like they come in 2s.
Yeah, no, I got you.
You know,
yeah.
Or a team moves, right? Like a team will go from one place to another. Seriously, you're a hockey guy. You like the Lightning, Casey. You're a hockey guy, kind of, not anymore because Detroit sucks.
Yeah. And I don't really like the Lightning, but that's real quick. You know what happened with Tampa Bay this year? Because we have to get into this as well. Because they kind of set a precedent of how to do things in the NHL. Are you aware of how Tampa Bay kind of swindled the NHL this year?
No.
So long story short, one of their best players, Kucherov, was out for the entire year. Well, he was out for the regular season, right? And then played in the postseason. Well, there's a rule in the NHL where if your guy is out during the regular season, he does not count against the salary cap. So what they did was, and once again, Casey, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Tampa Bay said, yeah, he can come back in the middle of the season if he wants, but we're doing pretty well right now without him, so let's just keep him out. Let's keep, quote-unquote, rehabbing him until the playoffs start, and that way we can take our salary cap and bring in another top priority free agent and get more talent on our team. Because now they're over the cap. The season's done, and we're looking at next year.
Yeah.
They're like $18 million over the cap. Casey, your thoughts about your cheaters in the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I mean, here's the thing. Everything they did was inside the rules. So first off, they didn't invent the rule. The rule was in place.
This is true.
And I don't think at any point in time during the season he would have played. So
you don't?
I think he would have been.
But you think the fact that he came back in the playoffs and like put up some of the biggest numbers ever, you think he could have did that in the regular season as well? You think they're actually going to keep him out because he was hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they would have, if he was really hurt, I think they still make the playoffs. And for the sake of argument, if they would have been close to making the playoffs, and you're thinking they might have brought him back, I really don't think they would have.
Okay. Interesting.
I guess so that's a good thought on the Lightning, who have won back-to-back titles, Stanley Cups. The Seattle Kraken, did we like the name or not? I can't remember. I think we did, right? I thought we were okay with the name.
See, I was kind of indifferent because I was voting for
like
the grunge,
yeah.
which I think,
yeah, that would be good. That would
Chef's
be good.
kiss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then who do we have on? We had Mina Kimes on, who's a big Seattle supporter, and she didn't like the grunge.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's not as good as we think it is.
Well,
you heard what they're going to call the stadium, though, right?
No.
Crack Den.
The crack.
Nothing.
Is that real?
What do you mean nothing? I'm laughing. It's fantastic.
I didn't know if he was serious or not.
If he was or he wasn't, that's
awesome.
awesome.
Judging Casey.
Yeah, well, it's going to be called that regardless, I feel like now. Yes. So it is the expansion draft tonight.
It is.
Big.
Seriously. I mean, it's obviously a big deal in hockey, but look, what could happen tonight that people will be talking about tomorrow?
So the big news is Carey Price, the goalie for the Canadiens that just took them to the Cup, who was the best goalie in the league until Vazzy took him over. It was not protected by the Canadiens. He's owed a lot of money in hockey terms, not in any other sport terms. And he could be taken by the Kraken, and that's the big speculation if he will go. It's similar to what happened when Vegas came in. They took Marc-Andre Fleury from the Penguins. He had won Cups with the Penguins. He had a high salary cap number. They took him, and it worked out.
And he put him right on the map right away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the question will be, are they going to take Carey Price? And like the sound we heard at the beginning that started all this, no one really knows what they're going to do.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I like the suspense.
But obviously, if you're a fan, like if you're a Canadiens fan right now, well, then you're kind of you're hoping you don't lose your star goaltender.
Well, no doubt about it.
So like that's so from hockey team, like so that's why like everyone has to be invested into this because yes, it's for the Seattle Kraken, but also if you're invested in your own hockey team yourself, you can lose a quality young up and coming talent just because that's how the expansion draft works.
Right.
Well,
the Lightning are guaranteed to lose a pretty good player.
Yeah.
So that'll make people
Two
happy
players.
to think the Lightning cheated. So, whatever. It's good.
I'm going to celebrate.
The Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, have done very well since entering the NHL. Like, very well. You want to know their record? Year one, it was 51-24.
Right, they played for the Cup.
Yeah, they did. 43-32 in year two. 39-24 in year three. 40-14 in year four. I mean, they've had tremendous success, obviously built off that expansion draft. I would think this will be very difficult to duplicate the success of Las Vegas and Seattle this quickly. I mean, that's crazy success.
It is and it's not. I think that, no, you're not going to duplicate. You're not going to go to the Stanley Cup, I feel like, the first year if you're the Kraken. That's for sure. But, like, what Casey alluded to a little bit is what they were able to do in Las Vegas is they got Marc-Andre Fleury, okay? And, like, that was their cornerstone. He was playing goalkeeper at a very high level. But then they got a bunch of, like, these young upstart guys that were, in terms of contract negotiations, pretty cheap because they weren't really on their second deals yet where they get all this money. So they had a lot of actually talent in terms of they were a young team, but they were a talented team. And that's where the expansion draft comes in a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, you got to make all the right moves. I mean, Las Vegas has done it. It's become quickly a hotbed. I mean, you look at some of the great atmospheres there are in the NHL, and we're not talking about the original six. You know, you're talking about the Lightning in Las Vegas and things that come to mind. Now, listen, anybody who's going on a run is going to have like this frantic-looking towels waving place. I mean, no doubt about it. But I mean, and Nashville's another one who's relatively young. You know, in the NHL. And so Seattle could, Seattle known for its fans in the NFL, could quickly become like that in the NHL. The NHL atmospheres are really cool, but it doesn't take tradition to build it. Again, you're talking about they are such different sports. Even baseball is a bit different because those stadiums are 35, 40,000, sometimes 45,000 people. These stadiums, NBA and NHL, they're great places to build a fan base because you only need 17 to sell the place out. That's it. It might be 25,000 core fans in your city, and you only need the 17 of them to come every night to sell it out. It's a good business model. Now, there are a lot of games to go to, so you got to be able to do that. But these places have been able to instantly make an impact with their crowds, I feel like, and the electricity around their organizations, one, with a lot of success, but two, because of you don't need to put 60,000 people in there.
Do you think executives are watching to see how the Seattle fan base responds to the Kraken and whether they sell it or not to see, hey, should we bring the Supersonics back to Seattle as well? Because when we talk about, the Seattle Seahawks, it's obviously they're a pretty storied fan base. But when I say storied, I mean, the 12th man kind of came out of nowhere when they started winning. I mean, I never really knew Seattle, the fan base, to be that crazy. But then you bring Pete Carroll in and the rest is history. I'm not sure how the Mariners' attendance really is, but do you think they're going to be watching the Kraken to see just what the response is like to see if they bring the Supersonics back?
Yeah, I don't know the temperature of that out there. I think I've seen a couple of different conversations about that at times over the years. Here's what I would wonder. This is my biggest curiosity. When I would say it's safe to say Seattle feels like a different place than when the Supersonics were there, in terms of the city. Like Seattle is now like a destination place. Like people, I want to go back. I went one time with the Jags for 24, 36 hours, and I want to go back.
Oh, it's a cool spot. I've been a couple times.
It's a neat place.
Yeah.
But I don't remember people talking about it like that some 20 years ago. I don't. Maybe they were, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And I think the Seahawks have made it very cool, even after there was a little bit of a lull when Ken Griffey Jr. made it cool. But the Seahawks make it really cool. Heck, soccer there is really well received. And now we'll see what happens with the NHL. And I guess what I was really getting to is, yes, there's a different feel, but also I believe the size of the city has probably changed in terms of maybe they were market 30 when the Supersonics were there. They might be like market 17 now with more Fortune 500 companies, with more sponsorship dollars available to support another professional franchise. That's the big part of it. Anytime anybody talks about this kind of stuff in Jacksonville, it's like, okay, do you have enough Fortune 500 companies? Do you have enough people that will support it? It's a challenge at times, even with the Jags. You couldn't bring a baseball team here. You're not going to get somebody to do that for 81 nights in Jacksonville. It's just not, it doesn't have the infrastructure to do it. That's why I've always said in 15, 20 years, if the next place to come here would be an NHL team. Yeah. Like if there's going to be another professional sport, there's probably going to be an NHL team. I think the Icemen are proving that you can make hockey work in Jacksonville. But all you have to do is really double the Icemen's attendance to fill up a stadium for a hockey game.
True.
An NHL game.
But
I think that could happen.
You think they'd get rid of the Panthers, though, then?
We can just take the Panthers out of Miami.
Because it's hard to justify 3 NHL teams in the state of Florida. It really is.
Again, this is just fodder more than anything. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Florida's a great example of that. The Florida Panthers, who I think are the most irrelevant franchise in sports. But as hockey continues to migrate into the South with what the Lightning have done, maybe they do want to keep a second team here, but Florida's not the place in terms of South Florida for it. Maybe Jacksonville would be the place for it some 10 years down the road. I'm not predicting it's going to happen. I'm not putting stakes on this like I've done other things.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it ever does happen, the next franchise to come here, I believe, would be hockey, not NBA. Orlando's too close. Not Major League Baseball. There's too many games.
Yeah.
But I think it could happen with the NHL.
Well, and we've had this conversation before, and you know where I stand. I think the next professional team to come to Jacksonville is the WNBA, if you want to count that.
You have said that. Yeah, absolutely count it.
Yeah, for
Why
sure.
not?
I think so. I think it makes too much sense.
That would be interesting to see that. Are we progressive enough as a city? Is that the right word to support the WNBA? I don't know.
I mean,
we
had a lingerie football team back in the day here.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's the right way to phrase it.
It's not the same thing at all. Trust me.
Like, what are the hot cities in terms of WNBA? In terms of attendance?
Chicago. Oh, I don't know.
They're big cities, right? I mean,
Las
it's like
Vegas,
Chicago, Detroit,
Washington.
Yes, I don't know. Does Jacksonville fit?
Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't know if Jacksonville fits the WNBA,
Seattle.
Whatever they're looking for model. I don't know. I don't have a good pulse of that. Let's just say.
That's a good question. I'm about to Google top WNBA attendance.
Hey, you know what we have to do? We got to take a break, but we also we'll get to Steven in just a bit. He has a question. We got to get to your fight coming up on Saturday. This is your last day before you take off for Orlando, and we got to give away some tickets, baby. How about caller number 4? 904-362-9901. Fall Out Boy, Green Day, Weezer, coming July 31st. That's next Saturday to the bank. And you can win a couple tickets right now on ESPN 690. Give Casey a call, 904-362-9901. Caller number 4 gets a couple of tickets to the big concert coming to the bank next Saturday.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
It's Wednesday. I'm Casey Kurtz. The wait is over for Milwaukee. The Bucks are champions.
It's been 50 years that makes it all that much sweeter. And ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 NBA champions, your Milwaukee Bucks.
That was Adam Silver postgame. Brent and Austin will break it all down today on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 from 3 until 6. A pretty cool Olympic moment is upcoming for current Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp infielder Eddie Alvarez. Alvarez was selected to be a United States flag bearer for the opening ceremony of the Olympics on Friday night. He will join USA basketball legend Sue Bird, who will also carry the flag. Alvarez and the United States baseball team will get going in Tokyo next week with their first game against Israel, who also have a member of the Jumbo Shrimp on their roster. That's pitcher Jake Fishman. This Sports Center update sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan for the people.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
I don't talk a lot about golf here because I know that unless something like Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson-esque is happening, not enough people are into it. But do you know what could bring people into it? Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka hating each other. Stop acting like you are above being a sport. So if you want more people to get interested in it, let interesting things happen.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
Hey, boss. So, I've been reading all these stories about the ding-dong doorbell cameras sharing internet with neighbors.
Yeah?
What if we figured out how to hack into the network? We could have access to all kinds of personal information.
Are you serious? That is not what we do. We look for houses without safe-touch security, and we break in when no one's home. Full stop, end of story.
But, boss, these ding-dong doorbell cameras is a goldmine of data.
Listen, Porchop, we gotta stay in our lane. Let someone else do the hacking. We are good old-fashioned burglars. Got it?
Got it.
Speaking of which, have you found any more houses without safe touch?
Yep. Believe it or not, there's still plenty out there.
Well, be glad for that, because we still gotta stick to the Crooks of Rust golden rule. Stay away from safe touch houses. And stay in our own lane.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
My community means everything to me. That's why I joined the Army National Guard.
I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The training and leadership skills I get from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people and look out for my community. If you'd like to learn how you too can serve part-time in the community you love, visit nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Ronald McDonald House of Jacksonville will host its inaugural Sporting Clays Classic event Friday, September 17th, 9 a.m. at Jacksonville Clay Target Sports. Enjoy an afternoon of busting clays, amazing auctions, contests, awards, and gifts, all while supporting critically ill children. To learn more, visit www.rmhcjacksonville.org. Proceeds support Ronald McDonald House of Jacksonville, which provides lodging, meals, transportation, and compassionate care to families of critically ill children.
If you're experiencing domestic violence, it is not your fault. Hubbard House is here for you. You are not alone. Hubbard House provides free services and emergency shelter to survivors of domestic violence in Duval and Baker counties. Call 904-354-3114 anytime, 24/7 to confidentially speak to a caring advocate.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Hello Mega Tour is coming to TIAA Bank Field on July 31st, and ESPN 690 has 2 chances for you to win tickets to see Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer. Listen to Action Sports Jax all this week at 4:15 for your first chance, and your second chance is to register on the contest page on ESPN690.com.
We get a winner? Those tickets have been a big draw. I haven't even really promoted it too much, although I think we've been promoting it.
Yeah.
Like on the radio station all day.
Yeah, we got a winner.
We got a winner.
Are you going to go? I mean, you have some kind of familiarity. You talked about Green Day a little bit. And
I honestly wouldn't mind. I would probably watch that and be okay with it.
I got tickets for sale if you need them.
You got tickets for sale?
Yeah, I bought them when they went on
sale. You just win them and then now you're selling them?
That's it. That's the plan.
Casey's pocketing the tickets.
That's it. That's the racket. No, I bought them when they went last year before COVID.
Yep.
So they reschedule it on my fiance's birthday. So we're out. We're out on that front.
You're engaged.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Dang.
What the heck?
Recently,
you didn't tell us that in the bio.
Yeah, this happened recently, or has it been no?
Like a year.
You know what happened with the last guy that got engaged?
He quit.
He was on to bigger and better things.
He's gone.
And now he's telling me what to do.
And now I've got another wedding invitation. I thought they were already married.
Yeah, so this is the celebration.
This is the party
now.
in North Carolina.
This is the excuse to bring them gifts now. That's what we're doing.
I already got him a damn toaster.
Well, hey man, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Does that mean I have to get Casey a toaster now? Did I set the standard?
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna look pretty bad if you bought Kuz a toaster and all of a sudden it's his wedding at Casey's and you get him a pair of socks.
I mean, let's just hope
you get him an Action Sports Jax
a little
t-shirt.
Bit less expensive that happens between now and then. That's kind of themed.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
I mean, the Trevor toaster was kind of a theme.
Yeah,
I went along with the times. That's like. You do so, your dance to your wedding song is not going to be something from 1975, okay? Might be a good song, but it's not from 1975 here in 2021. Most likely.
Yeah, I got you. Well, the whole 1975, that's a band. Yeah, okay, good. That was good, though. Oh, look at you, man.
Double meaning.
Look at you. Get this guy in the mornings. What do you do the next 2 days? I'm going to be out.
That's right. What are they doing? Flying solo?
Pre-recorded. So it's like I'm there, but it's...
Don't say that.
So, sorry.
There are a lot of secrets.
No, I'm just kidding.
Radio.
No, actually, it's cool. So
this show is authentic, genuine, and live.
No, it's really cool because what happens is, since we're a morning show, so we got the funds. I'm gonna take a private jet after the show and then go weigh in for my fight. So unfortunately, couldn't swing it for this show.
After how much you guys spent on those pictures, it doesn't surprise me.
Hey, we got really good feedback from those pictures, all right? So get off us, man.
I mean, just think if we took those kind of pictures, what kind of feedback we could have got.
We would not be taking those kind of pictures. Social distancing is still in effect.
Hey, let's get to, is Steven still hanging around? Let's get to him. I think he had a question about the Washington football team. What's happening, man?
Hey, not too much, guys. Also, Austin, good luck in your fight.
My man, appreciate it.
No problem. My question is, one of the big stories going around is, Washington changing their name by next year. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter or their video that they put on YouTube. A lot of rumors are going around saying talks are around Wolves, Red Wolves, and Wolfpack, and wondering if they're going to stick with maybe, as an example, Washington Wolves or Washington Red Wolves, or they're going to go DC Wolves or DC Red Wolves. I mean, Austin probably would think it would be really cool if they were called Wolfpack, and then they go back and steal the NWO Wolfpack theme from WCW.
This is obviously this is very true. Go on.
And I think it would be a great direction to go in because, I mean, besides college and the Timberwolves in NBA, you don't see that many canine, mascots in the NFL, if any, besides, I guess, Browns and Chiefs, which technically they use a canine mascot. What do you guys think about that?
Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. The Stevens connection, or wherever he's calling from, seems like it gets worse every single time he calls.
Well, it is storming outside right now, or he's on the spin cycle. He's in a dryer. One of those two. But yeah, it's a little hard. It's all right though. I mean, we can make it out. We're good.
I kind of am wishing they would stay with Washington football team. We've discussed this before. I know it's not going to happen.
Well, but that's easy for you to say though, because you're not a fan of them. Like, imagine being a fan of the Washington football. Like, you take pride in that. You think that's cool? Like, rocking gear.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I do actually.
You think rocking gear that says Washington football team? That's a ticket.
It might get old in a few years, but I think there's still a newness about it that I think is kind of cool. And here's what I would feel like if I'm a Redskins fan, old Redskins fan, Washington fan, and that is in my NFC East. Mm-hmm. Chris Berman would call them the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They can't really do that anymore because we're the Washington football team. So you can't call the New York Giants that anymore. So I feel like I'm kind of stealing something from the Giants, one of my rivals.
Yeah. So basically you're appeasing to Chris Berman. Well, I mean, he was great, obviously, but that's what it's coming from.
But how many people sit here in our industry at least and be like, the New York Football Giants?
Yeah.
Just like it's become a thing.
No, I mean, that's not bad, all right? And I get what you're saying there. But, like, imagine yourselves in Washington, prime time, Sunday night football game, playing your biggest rivals, so I don't know, whatever, say the Cowboys, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it's like an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock kickoff, and all of a sudden, like, it's dark outside, and you got that wolf playing in the background to get the kickoff started. Cool. That's really cool, in my opinion. Now,
I think they'll come up with something smart.
Yeah, now, when I hear the Wolves, I think of that 19-something movie, The Program, the college, which I think it was the Timberwolves, but still the Wolves or whatever. It might have been the Wolfpack, but that's what I think of when I hear that.
That howl, the howl would be cool. That's fine, though. That's good.
That's great.
It's good.
Better than Chris Berman? Better than Chris Berman going the Washington football team?
Right. Slightly.
Okay.
Who cares? It's a Washington football team. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Football at 5 coming up. We update you on the training camp practices. If you missed the news on that, we can give you those dates again. And camp battles today, it goes to the defensive line.
Or you can listen to the podcast to get that stuff back.
You can. And subscribe. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. But also subscribe to our YouTube channel. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We are everywhere. We are back. Football starts a week from today. Football at 5 next.
It's
It's an event so huge, it even includes pre-owned. That's right, the Big One sales event is back, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. With over 300 pre-owned available, Arlington is the place to shop the Big One event. Even better, you have 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, almost everyone is approved. Plus, Arlington will give you top dollar for your trade. Shop the Big One sales event in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Are you 45 or older? Time to screen for colon cancer. Most colon cancers develop from polyps, and a colonoscopy is the only way to remove them. Not all cancers can be prevented. Colon cancer can be. Getting screened saves lives. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more life-saving information.
Anyone can talk like they're a big dog, but few actually walk the talk. We're not the only plumbing company claiming same-day water heater service. In fact, a lot of customers have called us after other companies failed to come through on their same-day service talk. Fortunately, Griffin Service delivers. We eat big dogs for lunch. And we fix what others can't. Some of that's knowing the science, engineering, and craft of AC and plumbing better than the Bubbas, but it's also better planning. The key to actually doing same-day water heater replacement is having water heaters in stock and ready to go. And that's what we do. Gas, electric, tank, tankless, we got them all in stock and ready to roll for you. So if you want to avoid the bait and switch turd bucket tactics of the Bubbas, or if you discover you're in the middle of an all talk, no walk situation with a wannabe, well, you know who to call, right?
GriffinService.com.
CMC 1250-697.
If the pandemic taught us one thing, it's the fact that essential jobs are necessary. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin. And when we're talking about essential jobs, I'm talking about automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV, and transportation industry professionals. And this is where my friends at J-Tech come in. J-Tech Institute is a nonprofit organization who understands that to keep the American economy running smoothly, you need to keep these things moving with highly skilled essential employees. So if you're searching for a school that offers the kind of hands-on essential career training that can help move your future in the right direction, then J-Tech is the spot for you. Not only are you going to learn an essential skill, but they also set you up for success, whether it's adjusting to your schedule, school-issued laptops, evening classes, career placement opportunities, and much more. Up to 84% of J-Tech's graduates are employed in the field of their study right after graduation. J-Tech is now enrolling new students for the up-and-coming fall term, so what are you guys waiting for? Call right now at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank, tell him Austin sent you, jtech.org for more.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
It's time for some straight talk. We've all been there. You have some real work to do, but the free Wi-Fi where you're working isn't going to cut it. It's like leaving the winning runner stranded on third base. Not good. Well, now you can be your own hotspot with Straight Talk's Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get 10 gigs of hotspot data for just $55 a month. All on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required? See straighttalk.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Christine Lisi with what you need to know. A new deal for 49ers All-Pro Fred Warner, now the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. He and the team agreed on a 5-year, $95 million extension, $40 million guaranteed, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
They believe he embodies everything they are looking for in a player on and off the field. On the field, He's exactly what you want. Arguably the best linebacker in all of football, and off the field, he's a model of what the 49ers are looking for, exactly the type of representative that they want in San Francisco.
The extension ties Warner to the 49ers through the 2026 season. In the wake of that Warner extension, Colts linebacker Darius Leonard's considered next in line for a big contract. He and Indy are working on a lucrative extension, which is expected to make him more than $19 million a year, according to Schefter. Leonard is set to make $3.4 million this upcoming season, the final one of his rookie contract. And the family of college football Hall of Famer Bobby Bowden, via statement, says the 91-year-old has been diagnosed with a terminal medical condition. Bowden says he's at peace.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Snap is back. Here comes the Bears pass rush, and they hit Aaron Rodgers, and down he goes inside the 10-yard line in the nickel rush. It is Roy Robertson Harris and a 10-yard sack.
Raise your hand if you knew who Roy Robertson Harris was before, like, this offseason.
Yeah, sorry, Roy. Not really.
Nah, not really.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Football at 5 here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. The big news for the Jaguars, say they announced training camp practices open. There's going to be basically a handful of practices open for the Jacksonville Jaguars starting next Thursday, and also a scrimmage, the annual scrimmage inside the stadium. The practices are going to be in the morning. Gates will open at 9 a.m. I believe the scrimmage will be in the morning as well, although the actual time frame I don't think was released on that. Jaguars.com/training camp, the place to go for all the information. You have to register, and season ticket holders get to register early on Friday. It will start this Friday, coming up in 2 days. And then whatever's left over on their limited capacity will be opened up to everybody else to come check out part of practice or all of practice or whatever. There's one other stipulation in there. So here are the days. Next Thursday, next Friday, next Saturday. That's the 29th, 30th, 31st. That 30th practice is just season ticket holders. Mm-hmm. So those are the only folks that can go to that practice. Then the following week is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, culminating in that scrimmage at the stadium at TIAA Bank. So you get basically 5 or 6 looks at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The media, of course, will be there more than that. And then we get the 3 preseason games. And it's game on. I mean, there's an excitement level about that announcement today because it's happening. It's around the corner. It's a week away. But if you want to register, again, starts this Friday, open to season ticket holders. Then anything left over after that will be open to anyone else. Jaguars.com/training camp, the place to go for all of that information. Tickets are free for anybody who chooses to go. Don't know what the capacity is. Masks are optional. But got to believe there will be some of the protocols in place, and limitation of space is certainly one of those things. Even if you could, if COVID-19 wasn't even a thing, you can only get so many people inside the practice field to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars practice. So should be quite the time and a buzz around town, and watching Trevor Lawrence throw and Travis Etienne run and this defensive line do their thing, because that's what we're going to talk about. Camp Battles. We are dissecting a different part of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not every position, because Trevor Lawrence is going to be the quarterback. We're not really dissecting who will be the quarterback. We know it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Yesterday we did safeties. Today we're going to do defensive linemen. We get into that in just a moment. I don't want to bypass this opportunity to ask you about fight week coming up.
All right.
Because I don't want to get too late in the show. You fight Saturday night in Orlando. Reggie Northrup, by the way, former First Coast Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Played at Florida State.
Yep.
Had a little bit of cup of coffee in the NFL. Yeah. Still doing some spring league stuff, actually, keeping that NFL or that football career going. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that you've been training with. You've been coaching up a little bit. He's on the card as well. So you got 2 local guys down in Orlando, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, man, because, you know, like – Because me and Reggie, I mean, we see each other every single night, and we punch each other in the face, and we grapple, and we do all that stuff. So
it's a little bit different than you and me.
Yeah, well,
we have a different relationship than you and Reggie.
Mentally, yeah. I mean, we're basically sparring mentally here.
That's true.
But it's amazing just what kind of bond you can get when you literally try to kick the crap out of each other every single night. So he's become one of the homies. He's become a really good friend of mine, and he's going into his third amateur fight right now. Obviously, I have a little more experience than he does. So I mean, I'm not mentoring the guy by any means because he's doing a great job on his own. But anytime I see something, I give him some advice, obviously, and I kind of show him some things. But he's really fun to watch, and it's funny because like everybody in our gym says this. In terms of fighting styles, we're almost like exact polar opposites because Reggie is super explosive. I don't say I'm not explosive. I mean, I'm not going to diss myself that bad, but like he can throw spinning back kicks. He can throw a bunch of crazy things. He does it all the time in training. And he came from a wrestling background as well in high school. He was actually a really highly touted wrestler in high school. Yep. So he has that for a base as well. Me, I'm a little more, just like the basic. I mean, I can throw the crazy stuff, but I'm just a little more methodical. I'm a little more basic in terms of how I set up my kicks and my punches and all that stuff. So like when we go back and forth, it's kind of a contrast of styles. So it's almost like must-see TV when we're sparring in that gym.
It's interesting. You told me about Reggie for the last few months, but you're really high on him.
Yes.
In terms of where he can go.
Yeah.
How many times does he have to fight until he can turn pro? There's a stipulation on that, right?
So every state is different. Back when I was coming up as an amateur, the rule was 5. You had to get at least 5 amateur fights and to turn pro. I believe the Florida, boxing commission, they just changed the rules to where it's 3 fights now. So he'll be entering his 3rd fight, and he'll be defending his light heavyweight title for Combat Night. So this will be his 3rd fight. I'm not sure what the plan is after this fight. Assuming that everything goes according to plan, which it should. He could very well turn pro, but like with him, and I always tell him this, like he's still a pretty young dude, all things considered, in the landscape of MMA. So there's really no rush for him. Like he wants to go to the UFC as he should, because that should be the goal of any fighter. But he's really, I mean, he's got plenty of time ahead of him. So I think the plan right now is obviously win this fight for him, and then when we're reflecting on it, we're talking about it, just to make sure he's got all the skills sharpened, all the tools sharpened, so by the time he turns pro, it's off the ground running.
Okay, how about you? What do you know about this opponent? Can't give away too much of your game plan.
Sure.
But how much have you watched on him? How difficult of a fight will this be?
Yeah.
What does this mean for you and your next step?
Yeah, so my opponents were Sean Jackson, fighting out of Georgia, I believe. Coming in about 6 foot, 6'1", about 260 pounds. So shorter, stockier kind of dude. Has a very big grappling-based background. And when I say that, basically, I think, he competed as a wrestler at the collegiate level, very good on the ground. I think if I was fighting me, I think, and you look at my history, I think the plan for him would be to try to take it to the ground. So obviously, a lot of our fight camp, without giving out too much, has been takedown defense, has been what to do on the ground if I find myself there. And it's also, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. And maybe I take him down. Because I showed that in my last fight that I'm capable of that as well. So we worked a lot of the ground game, a lot of grappling. But at the end of the day, and it's what I always say, it's about what I do. I control I dictate the pace of the fight, and I control what happens. And the plan is to stay long, use my striking to my advantage, stay patient, and pick my shots when they present themselves.
Yeah, let me ask you this: as a fighter, and this might just be you, but as anybody, is this an obvious answer? How would you like to win a fight? Knockout?
Yeah.
Submission?
Yeah.
Or show your stamina, go the distance, and have all those judges unanimously say, I kicked that guy's butt?
That's a great question. Like when I'm doing like my, when I visualize how the fight's going to go after, before every single fight, I always visualize a 3-round battle where I'm all bloodied up, nose is broken, and I'm trying to dig deep. My lungs are pumping battery acid, and I got to find a way to finish this fight. Like that's what I always visualize, because that's as bad as it can go.
That's
it's like,
right.
man,
That's the extent, right?
I got to show off my heart. I got to find a way to win. I've had finishes by submission, and I've had finishes by knockout. And depending who you talk to, it's always different. Some guys will tell you submission because for whatever reason, they're more jiu-jitsu based. And I've been doing jiu-jitsu as long as I've been doing boxing and kickboxing. But for me, it's like if you're up to bat for a game and the game's on the line, Sure, if you hit a single, that's cool. Like your team wins, whatever. Your guy comes home, you're celebrating, more power to you. But if you hit a home run and you win the game, that's a knockout.
Yeah. Plus, you get to pimp it a little bit.
And then you get to pimp it as well. Bat flip. So, yeah. So, if you ask me personally, it's a knockout all day.
Yeah.
Not even close.
That's a great analogy, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you'll take the W any way you can get it.
Yeah,
but, I think that's a really good analogy.
Austin, I did some research.
Yeah.
I looked all over. I was trying to find the odds.
Oh, okay.
Are there odds?
There are odds right now, yes.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, so I believe right now where they stand, I'm minus 165, and coming back, I think he's plus 120.
All right.
So
now where can I place those bets? That's the
Put
question.
the house on it right here. Right, that might not be a good thing. I'm going to win this one. I'm putting the house on it.
Yeah,
I'm putting the house on it.
If you go on Facebook, I have, truth be told, I have
with
no
your
idea where to.
fiance.
Yeah, I have no idea. For sure. Check with the fiance first. I have no idea where to place the bets, though, honestly.
Sweet.
I just saw someone posted on Facebook.
So even at just about any level, I guess, there are odds.
There's amateur odds. Like
There are.
Reggie's, yeah, because he's a minus. He's like just like I am. I think he's like minus 180 or something. So yeah, it's nuts.
How about that?
Yeah.
Might have to find those odds, Casey. I'm leaving that up to you now.
I'll be looking.
Yeah.
Put the whole day's salary on it.
There you go.
Should have a buck by Sunday morning.
Tens of dollars in profits we're talking.
Hey, I said check with the fiance. We're kind of we're split up in the home right now, not like on a very personal level, like we're not like separated.
Okay, I was getting ready. Casey, hit the off the rails button real quick.
Yeah, I know. Got to keep that off the rails button. You never know.
Yeah.
But so Steph and Kaylee are up in Tennessee playing softball.
Okay.
And Steph's not. She's watching. And Ty has been playing, and so we've I've popped back into work, and we go up to Atlanta coming up next for the last tournament. But so that's left me at home doing like laundry in between trips.
Domesticated Brent?
I will say this. I don't mind doing things around the house. I just don't find myself doing the laundry very often. I'm not like too good to do laundry. I did plenty of laundry in college, and at different times I've done it, but I just haven't done it very often.
Yeah.
And like Steph is like this uniform whatever. Like if I messed up the uniform, let's just say I would never hear the end of it. All right. She's over the top about the uniform.
What do you mean? Like you didn't get a stain out? Like what do you mean?
Stains. Stink.
Okay.
Like Ty's like, whatever. We don't need to wash it. Just
wrinkly, maybe.
Throw it back on, right?
Yeah.
Steph would, if I did something to the uniform, she would be very mad at me. And so I had to be very careful washing the uniforms.
Yeah.
But you go the old trick. You got to wash it on cold, right? Just cold. Cold. Nothing can go wrong if you put it in cold water.
Well, true, but I mean, as far as stains are concerned, sometimes cold water doesn't cut through those stains like warm water does.
I got this big break.
Okay.
Last week, Ty played on turf.
Okay. So there's no stains.
So there's very few stains. And
sure.
I don't have to sit there and scrub.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like the baseball, a couple of things happened this week. Because I had to go fill up the cooler.
Yeah.
Steph's usually like talking about, I'm like, who cares? We'll go buy a thing of water or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm at like 6 a.m. for an 8 o'clock game. You got like 4 baseball dads down in the hotel, like at the cooler, getting ice in the thing, and then like I hear the moms and dads talking, and Steph usually involved in these conversations. Like there's these new flakes or whatever that you put on the uniform to get out the dirt stains.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're called, okay?
Yeah.
But there's something new that really is effective.
Yeah.
So thankfully I didn't have to mess around with that because I had the turf, no stains. I just had to throw them in the washer. Steph's like, don't dry them. Just hang them up. She's like, you might want to wash them now to make sure they're dry. I'm like, Steph, it's 150 degrees outside. They'll dry in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Bro, I'll tell you what, man.
There's a lot of pressure on me this week. I'm just telling you.
No, I hear you,
I'm
man.
under the gun.
It sounds like you're on it right now. Man, that reminds me. You want to talk about a threat level 10 scenario that I had back in high school? So, playing football, one of the benefits of it was that, when you wore your jersey on Fridays, you wore your jersey to school, and then you gave it to a girl, right? And the girl wore the other jersey.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let's
that was big.
And you want to think about Urban Meyer going through the draft was articulate, and like, dude, I was I had a whole system set up here, right? And I told the story a little bit where, all of a sudden I'm a freshman, we got senior girls wearing my stuff. Like I was moving waves here.
Keep in mind,
Brett.
there are only 2 freshman girls in Iola, Scandinavia. 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and 2 seniors.
Coming from the guy from Rhode Island is unbelievable right now. But needless to say, I ended up giving my jersey one day to this girl named Molly, and I was a junior and she was a sophomore, I think it was, and girl liked to frequent Bath and Body Works, I guess, because the spray that she put on it wouldn't leave. So like literally, I get my jersey back. I'm like, well, did you wash it? She's like, I washed it. I'm like, okay, the smell is still there. So like I take it home and wash it again, and the smell wouldn't go away. So she got kind of downgraded to like the last of she was literally like worst case scenario, had to give out the jersey, then I'll give it back to her. But regardless of that, then no, you're not getting my jersey anymore because literally you marinated it in like, I think it was like strawberry kiwi or whatever the flavor was of Bath and Body Works. Remember the whole Bath and Body Works push? Remember that whole thing?
Well, it's still kind of
still a thing. It's still a thing. Okay. Is it still?
How far did you have to drive from where you live to Bath and Body Works?
Oh man, we're talking about at least a 45-minute drive to Bath and Body Works in the Appleton Mall. Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah,
this guy doesn't have to worry about any of that. He just has to wash the fish and then cook it after.
It can still smell.
Oh, that's true. Don't leave it in the car.
Yeah.
Rick Riles joins us now. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. How many times have you left the fish in the car?
Yeah. Only one. That's all it took. But some boysenberry jam that just spilled on my fishing shorts. Can you help me out? Can I drop them by the station?
No.
Boysenberry, what are you talking about there? Club soda? Brent, does Club soda get that out?
I have no idea. Just cold water, baby.
I mean, it sounds to me like you're the expert on laundry now.
Hey, doesn't salt water solve everything? Just dip them in the ocean.
Yes, it does, by the way. Yes, it does. And if you don't believe that, you can ask my wife. I can tell you one thing. It improves my attitude. There's no doubt about that. It was a good day's fishing today. I just talked with Captain Robert Johnson. The 2 Jody Lynns each had double half days, and they had really good days. Now, this will sound like a weird thing, but, Brent, when we get real heavy weather, a lot of our wrecks will actually move. They will shift in the sand. And Robert had lost a wreck about 2 or 3 years ago, and he found it today, and it was loaded with mangrove snapper. Big vermilion snapper, had a really fine day bottom fishing on a 6-hour trip, and there were a lot of kingfish caught off of St. Augustine today for the first time in a while, so we're glad to see that. Captain David Borey said it's all about clean water. If you can't find a stretch of clean water, you're not going to do anything. If you do find it, there is lots of hungry reds, trout, and flounder. So you've just kind of got to make your way up and down the Intercoastal Waterway. He tried night fishing for the first time last night. It was not successful. Said the water was just too dirty. So once this rain backs off a little bit and it clears up, we should be in good shape. But one thing you can count on, we'll be back to talk about it tomorrow with another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing.
Hey, don't go anywhere real quick. Educate me. What's a double half day?
Okay. You have a charter for 6 hours in the morning, like they leave the dock at 6 and come in at noon. You unload those passengers, pick up another set. They leave at 1 o'clock and come back in at 7.
Makes a lot of sense. That's a good day on the water, no doubt about it. Captain Rick, we appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Brent.
That's Rick Riles, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report, each and every day. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And don't forget, check out the show 7 a.m. on Saturday mornings until 9 a.m. on ESPN 690 as well. We're going to flip to football in a moment, but first, let's hit the happy hour horn here on a rainy Wednesday afternoon.
The good vibes.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
It's a celebration.
VitaDeLuis.com, the place to go to check out where you can find a bottle of Vida de Luis tequila, only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach, all the way from Tequila, Mexico, 3 different flavors, Blanco, Añejo, Reposado, VitaDeLuis.com. I say the Jaguars' defensive line, you say what?
First what comes to my mind, I thought of Josh Allen. I mean, that's what I think of. But if you want to put it under a bow, under an umbrella, if you will, I'm going to say versatile.
Yeah, you do think of certain guys. I'm glad you didn't say uh-oh.
That wouldn't be a good tease, I feel like, coming up.
Well, I know, but I mean, it was porous last year.
It was.
Right?
Yes.
You're replacing Saxonville.
Yeah.
What's the next installment of this Jaguars defense led by that front four or front seven? We kind of know what the linebackers look like. This new scheme, there's a lot to look for. We're going to talk about Trevor Lawrence and ETN and the receivers because that's the sexy thing to do. And at a football practice, you go out to those open practices, you sign up for that. As those were just released today, your eyes are going to take you there. But the conversation, I believe, over the next month, and the story that's going to unravel is going to be about this defense. And it's going to start with that front. And what does it look like in this new scheme under Joe Cullen? We talk about it. Camp battles. Who's battling for a spot? Taven Bryan, where does he fit in? What about some of these new guys? It's next on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few scattered heavy showers and storms into early this evening. Partly cloudy overnight tonight as temperatures drop into the low 70s. We start out with some fog on your Thursday, then partly sunny, hot and humid. A few afternoon storms with highs from 90 to 95. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Meter is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where you can save up to 40% off with Christmas and July savings now through the 25th.
Just be laid back. Community First makes smarter borrowing simple, so you can relax, knowing your loan fits your life and your budget. Apply at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Where else can you get lunch and brunch and booze and specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the South Side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new Five Sisters Vodka at happy hour. Lunch and brunch and booze and specials and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Greg McGarity. The future of college football is now, and our primary goal is to position the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl and Jacksonville to be prepared for a potential college football expansion. And we need you, our local business leaders, to join our team and showcase that Jacksonville supports college football. Gator Bowl Sports has opportunities for all companies, whether you have 5 employees or 5,000. I would love to meet you and talk about our future. If you'd like to learn more, contact me at 904-798-1700.
For 50 years, Taylor has been a leader in caring for the elderly. Providing quality, compassionate care has always been our mission. At Taylor Care Center and Taylor Manor, our recipe for success has always been our exceptional team. They work tirelessly to ensure that your family member gets the best care possible. When residents were not able to spend time with you and your family, our team stepped up to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. Our dedicated staff is among the best in the business. Taylor Residents, providing safe, compassionate care every day.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks R Us Training Helpline. Today, we're discussing another difference between ding-dong doorbell cameras and safe touch security.
For one thing, the do-it-yourself ding-dong doorbell camera automatically enrolls the user in the doorbell's sharing network plan.
A sharing network? Why, that sounds lovely.
Until you find out that unlike Safe Touch, these ding-dong doorbell cameras automatically share the user's internet with neighbors, whether they like it or not.
Don't believe us? Search sidewalk sharing.
And then there's Safe Touch security with encrypted technology on the entire system, including video monitoring.
Which is just one more reason why we crooks have a golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. If you haven't already, write it down, newbie.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Anyone can talk like they're a big dog, but few actually walk the talk. We're not the only plumbing company claiming same-day water heater service. In fact, a lot of customers have called us after other companies failed to come through on their same-day service talk. Fortunately, Griffin Service delivers. We eat big dogs for lunch. And we fix what others can't. Some of that's knowing the science, engineering, and craft of AC and plumbing better than the Bubbas, but it's also better planning. The key to actually doing same-day water heater replacement is having water heaters in stock and ready to go. And that's what we do. Gas, electric, tank, tankless, we got them all in stock and ready to roll for you. So if you want to avoid the bait and switch turd bucket tactics of the Bubbas, or if you discover you're in the middle of an all talk, no walk situation with a wannabe, well, you know who to call, right?
GriffinService.com.
CMC 1250-697.
The Jacksonville Sharks season is coming to a close, and ESPN 690 is giving you a chance to go to the last home game of the season this Saturday, July 24th at ViStar Veterans Arena. For your chance to win a pair of tickets to the game, go to the contest page on ESPN690.com.
Allen, top of your picture. Darnold feels the pressure. Here comes Allen from the back. Football is loose, and it is out of bounds.
What does the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line look like? Where are the battles? Who might not make the team? Who will play? We discussed this a little bit yesterday as our Camp Battles segment continues, but we just teased it on the defensive line. And that was, it's really hard to pencil in a starting lineup for the Jacksonville Jaguars in a lot of different places, because we don't know what that first play is going to look like. Are they going to come out in nickel? Are they coming out in 3-4? Are they coming out in 4-3? We really have no idea. It's hard to tell. And that's kind of the nature of the NFL now. There are all these different packages. But the Jags, in my estimation, after, since I've been here in 2008, and even prior to that because of Jack Del Rio, they have been 4-3, 4-3, 4-3. You can roll out, hey, I need these 4 defensive linemen, 2 big men in the interior, 2 pass rushers on the outside, your 3 linebackers, and you can say, okay, I think this guy's start. We can debate who's going to be at that second pass rusher spot or who's going to be at that 3 technique spot. Mm-hmm. It's different this time around. For the first time in a long time, you're like, okay, I don't know exactly where Jihad Ward's going to be. Right? I don't know. Where is Taven Bryan competing? And where's he playing? It's a weird thing. We don't know. They have a better idea of it, and we'll see more of it in practices and obviously in preseason games. And it's not like that insanely difficult to figure out. I just don't think it's clear as day because of the hybrid nature that Joe Cullen's going to try to play.
Yeah, out of any position group, I think the defensive line, and we're going to throw the edge rushers in here too, right? We're talking I think this is by far the hardest to get a gauge on of who your starters are going to be, who your depth players are going to be, and maybe who won't be here by the time the final roster is made. And it's hard for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's hard because, you got to think, like a 3-4 defense can mean a lot of things. Are they going to play the under, the over? What are the principles going to be? Are both defensive tackles going to be required to 2-gap, which means they're responsible for essentially 2 holes as opposed to just one that you would find in a 4-3 defense? Is it going to be a 3-4 under defense where only one guy is going to be responsible for 2 gaps? Another defensive tackle is only responsible for 1 gap. Like, all these questions kind of depends of, are you going to have your big-bodied guys at defensive tackle, maybe more your athletic guys? it's hard to get a gauge just because all we have to know right now from Joe Cullen is we're running a 3-4 with some hybrid looks. That doesn't give us a lot to go off of.
No, it really doesn't.
Right? So the way I kind of approach this exercise here is I just think, okay, a traditional 3-4 defense, a base 3-4 defense where you have 3 down defensive linemen and 2 outside linebackers who rush after, who get on the edge. I assume they're both going to 2-gap in terms of the defensive tackles. That's what I'm going with. And you have a nose as well. It's going to 2-gap. That's what I'm setting this exercise up. I could be wrong. That's what I envision from Joe Cullen. That's what I would like to see with the depth that you have, and that's how I'm going to apply it in this exercise.
Here are the candidates, okay? Josh Allen, of course, will be out there quite a bit. Devon Hamilton, Taven Bryan, Jihad Ward, Kayvon Chason, Doug Costin, Malcolm Brown, who they traded for with the Saints, DeJuan Smoot, who signed an extension, Aaron Patrick, deeper down the depth chart, Daniel Ross, Jay Tufele, who they drafted, Adam Gotsis, who they re-signed. I'll also give you Jordan Smith and Roy Robertson Harris, who are actually listed on some depth charts as a strong side linebacker behind Leon Jacobs. But again, I view them more as defensive linemen more than I do as, say, Leon Jacobs.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Who I consider to be more of the traditional linebacker. So I just gave you a lot of names.
Yeah. So let's go with the sure things to start
Josh
things off
Allen.
with. Well, yeah. I mean, I was going to start in the middle.
Okay, go ahead.
Your starting nose tackle has to be Malcolm Brown.
Traded for him.
Has to be Malcolm Brown. No ands, ifs, buts about it. You traded for that guy. You sacrificed to get that guy. Malcolm Brown, regardless of whatever you're going to run, he's going to be your nose because that's what he's played. He's had success playing
I was going to say, he's been a good player.
Exactly. And he gives you a little versatility, too, in the pass rush game. So he's not a liability where it's like, all right, he's a nose tackle. Can he get after the passer? Well, Malcolm Brown can. So that's your starting nose tackle. One of your starting 3 techniques, once again, assuming it's going to be a traditional 3-4 defense, it has to be Roy Robertson Harris. Because the fact that you got him very early on in the free agent process, the fact that, once again, you spent a little bit to get him, all indications point to that he'll be playing a 3 technique in a 3-4 defense. So that's another shoe.
Got his hand on the ground.
Yes, exactly. Josh Allen, obviously. Urban Meyer has sung his praises, Joe Cullen alike. Josh Allen will be one of your starting edges. Now, you can say, well, is he be on the strong side, the weak side? He's playing outside linebacker. Let's just call it like it is right now. Exactly. The other side of that, this is where it gets a little complicated to me, and this is where it can be a little confusing. Because I can sit here and say, well, obviously you got to like Kayvon Chason, right? Because, he had some playing experience last year. He came on strong at the end, maybe underachieved a little bit to some people. New scheme, standing up. You got to like what you see from him. He's playing the opposite side. And that very well could be the case. But once again, you have a guy like
He's beefed
Jihad,
up too, by the way.
and he is beefed up as well. And then you have all these indications saying, well, Joe Cullen's got to stop the run. He's got to stop the run. Okay. Well, then I see a guy like Jihad Ward, who has played in a Baltimore system, who, comes from that tough nose, stop the run type of defense that Joe Cullen loves. There's a reason why Jihad Ward's here. I think a person like Jihad Ward could give maybe a run for, once again, depending how much he weighs, because we don't know. Like, it says that he's listed at, I think 290.
290, yeah.
He seems a little slimmer than that. If he's a little slimmer than that, I could see him playing an outside linebacker in the run and maybe, subbing for Chason. And then the other guy that has got 2 from Kansas City.
Wilson.
Damian Wilson. I could see playing that role as well in the run game. I think if it's in the pass game, then maybe it's going to be advantage Kayvon Chason. But if you're trying to stop the run, maybe you go in a Damian Wilson type. Maybe you go with a Jihad Ward type. So that other opposite Josh Allen is really hard to figure out.
Yeah, and so we went with 2 down linemen right now that we've got. Who's playing that other lineman spot? Because you have plenty of candidates, and I'll list some of them, from Devon Hamilton to Taven Bryan. Could Jihad Ward even do that, by the way?
He could.
DeJuan Smoot. Doug Costin can be on that list. They re-signed Adam Gotsis. They like him, I think, especially against the run. And they draft Jay Tufele. And there's even a couple other names there. But I think those would be the prime candidates to be next to who we think, at least on the starting, would be Roy Robertson Harris and also Malcolm Brown.
So here's once again where it gets complicated. Because I'm a big fan of Devon Hamilton. Now, Devon Hamilton primarily played the nose last year.
Yes.
And I thought he did a heck of a job doing that. Well, he's not taking Malcolm Brown's spot. Malcolm Brown unequivocally is your starting nose tackle for your Jacksonville Jaguars, pending health, knock on wood. Devon Hamilton, it begs the question, well, could you see him in a 3 technique then? right? Because once again, this is a guy who's building off of a pretty impressive rookie campaign. This is a guy who played a little bit of a 3-4 defense at Ohio State, all around on the defensive line, who could probably do it. So the question comes, well, do you have him for depth purposes at nose tackle, or do you move him to 3? So I think he could be in consideration of your starting 3 technique.
Big fella now.
Obviously, he is a big fella. Obviously, Taven Bryan would be in consideration. This is kind of his last go at things. We've seen him play a big end in the past. Now, it's not the exact same position, but there's some 2 gapping involved. It wasn't his forte. Maybe he finally figures it out. Taven Bryan could be in the mix. Jay Tufele, I think eventually he could be in the mix as well. But once again, are you going to put a rookie in a 2-gap
probably
situation?
not. He's a depth guy.
Probably not right now. Yeah. The guy that I have you mentioned Dwan Smoot. Once again, kind of a tweener, I feel like a little bit, where, he's in between, in my opinion. He's too big to play outside linebacker, and depending on how much he weighs right now, which I don't know, he might be too small to play a traditional every down 3 technique in a 2-gap system. So the guy that's kind of got my eye, and I mentioned him when I went to go watch OTAs a little bit, and it looks like he put on some solid mass, and just in terms of quickness, he looks like he's right on par right now, is Adam Gotsis. Adam Gotsis was a guy that, he earned his reps last year, showed some flashes, but just the way that he looks in OTAs, and once again, assuming that he can keep that momentum going for training camp, I like Adam Gotsis possibly for that other side of the defensive tackle in a 3-4 defense. And keep in mind, coming from a Vic Fangio coach defense that had a 3-4 in Denver, so he's accustomed to playing that as well.
Yeah, it's a good call. I think it's an underrated call.
Yeah.
But I think Gotsis, again, first couple down, stopping the run, could be very good in that spot. As we always like to remind folks, if you're trying to do the depth chart of the Jacksonville Jaguars, trying to figure out the defensive line, the defensive line is one where they want to rotate guys in and out anyway. So ideally, under the 3-4, I would assume you'd have Josh Allen's going to stay on the field 90% of the time, or, maybe 90 is a little high, but a lot.
Well, and we've talked about this before. They're going to tailor that defense so Josh Allen can succeed.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so can you there's 6 or 7 or 8-man rotation of that defensive line is important. Coaches believe in that. Yes. Every franchise believes in that. And so some of this depth is very important. This isn't just, hey, just in case somebody gets hurt. This is, no, they're going to play snaps in the game. They're going to give guys a breather. They've got to be able to hold their own. Like, they've got to be 6, 7, 8 strong. Mm-hmm. And that's where the Jaguars were very good, going all the way back to Saxonville. That's why they brought in Marcel Darius. When people were like, don't they already have enough? No, they don't. They want another guy,
For sure.
It was, that was a big example of it, but still they added to that depth and rotation that year in 2017, running a different scheme, of course, but that's what they did.
Well, and that's the thing to keep in mind as well. Like, I get it. You got your Josh Allens, right? And different teams, you got like your Bosas and everything. But the only difference between a backup guy in this type of defense and the starter is that your name gets announced when you're coming out of the huddle.
True.
Or, out of the tunnel. That's about it. Because if this defense is humming like you hope it's going to be humming, you're going to be rotating guys in and out. That's just the way that it works. If you don't do that, then your defense becomes a liability. Just because what you ask those guys to do in the trenches, you have to sub them out. Because you'd rather have fresh bodies who are 100% as opposed to maybe you have a couple all-pro guys or a couple Pro Bowl guys, but they're maybe at 60% right now because they're gassed. You got to rotate those guys in.
I think it's really interesting you look at this roster of the Jags because Roy Robertson Harris, obviously somebody that they spent money on. Like you said, they're going to play. They traded for Malcolm Brown. It's a guy that's done it at a pretty good level that you figure he's going to be in there. And then you have names like Taven Bryan. Again, this is it. I think we could have the conversation, and we have in the past, does he even make it out of camp? I think that's a fair question with Taven Bryan because where do they play him? Where is there room for him if other guys outplay him? But then I like what of all the rookies last year, Devon Hamilton might have been the most impressive.
Yes.
Well, no, that's not true. James Robinson was the most impressive. But
on the defensive side of things,
but Devon Hamilton showed glimpses, man. He was like, when I can see it on that position, he's doing some things. Mm-hmm. And so I want to see more of Devon Hamilton. That's my point. Mm-hmm. I feel pretty good about him. Then there are 2 under-the-radar guys, and that is Gotsis, who you talked about, but also this guy, Doug Costin, who came in and impressed last year and just did it, just got it done. He's not flashy or anything like that, but he got the job done. And it will be interesting to watch him in this camp. Does he continue to get better? Is he just a guy, just a body? Who is he exactly? Can he compete? We mentioned Taven Bryan. There's going to be a sense of urgency about Taven Bryan that guy's never played under in his life before.
Yeah.
Or he just doesn't get it because this is it. This is a huge 2 to 3 weeks coming up for Taven Bryan, no doubt about it. We mentioned Jihad Ward. I think he can be a versatile player for him. You also mentioned DeJuan Smoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you hit on this, but I'm going to ask you it again anyway. In the Ward position, that strong side linebacker spot, kind of opposite of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you did use him in that way, did you say you could use Smoot in that way, or you think he's oversized for that spot?
No, I think, and once again, it all depends because, like I said, I think it says 290 for Jihad Ward on paper. He seems a little thinner like that when you see him in person. I'm not sure what it says about, DeJuan Smoot, but you could definitely use that guy in that position because, and I made this comparison many times, and it's a guy that I played with in Chicago, Pernell McPhee. When the Ravens played the Titans in the AFC, I think, divisional game or whatever it was, and the Ravens won that game, well, the primary objective was to what? Stop Derrick Henry. And that's when you saw Yannick Ngakoue get subbed out a little bit because he's more of a pass rusher. We all know that. And they bring in Pernell McPhee. Pernell McPhee, I mean, when I played with him in Chicago, was like 280. I think he's probably a little heavier now. And he was playing the outside linebacker role. Now, yeah, I mean, his pass rush at that time was okay. But let's be honest. He was brought in to set the line, set the edge, and stop the run. I think DeJuan Smoot can definitely do that. I think Jihad Ward can definitely do that. I get it. We have these preconceived notions of outside linebacker. You got to be able to drop back in coverage. You got to be like 250, 260 pounds and super athletic. Yeah, that can help. But if you're trying to set the edge and stop the run, it can take all shapes and sizes as long as you can do it.
Here's just an interesting look. 2020, the first depth chart released by the Baltimore Ravens last year. Joe Cullen's defense.
Yes. Yes.
Calais, Brandon Williams, Derek Wolfe, and then their rush, as they called it, was Pernell McPhee.
Yeah.
Then they had their linebackers, Patrick Queen, L.J. Fort. Their Sam was Matthew Judon.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
So, and then behind them was a guy named Jihad Ward as well. He was backing up at the defensive end position, Derek Wolfe. So I don't know if that gives you, from a body type, those are a lot of big dudes.
Yeah.
Body type size, right?
Yep.
To your point, Pernell McPhee listed as a rush guy, at least on their first team depth chart in Baltimore. I don't know if that gives us any insight, but it's going to be, if we think it's going to follow the Baltimore way, you're going to see a lot of big bodies.
Yes.
So to your point, don't get wrapped up in just Josh Allen, Caleb on Chason.
Stopping the run's going to be a top priority.
Yeah, I think that's an important part of it. I mean, the biggest cut guy, big name guy has to be Taven Bryan, right?
Correct.
He's got to be on alert.
Correct. And I think the biggest wild card to me is obviously Devon Hamilton because he had a great rookie campaign. If you're Joe Cullen, and I get how Joe Cullen operates, like he likes to get his hands on the young guys and teach them up, and coach them up and get their best. Well, do you get the best out of a nose tackle, what he played last year, or do you get the best possibly out of a 3 technique? Because it could be a boom or bust type of decision for Devon Hamilton. So that's kind of like my wild card to keep an eye on.
History made in Major League Baseball yesterday. We take you there when we come back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 here on a Wednesday.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
It's Wednesday. I'm Casey Kurtz. The wait is over for Milwaukee. The Bucks are champions.
It's been 50 years. That makes it all that much sweeter. And ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 NBA champions, your Milwaukee Bucks.
That was Adam Silver postgame. Brendan Austin will break it all down today on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 from 3 until 6. A pretty cool Olympic moment is upcoming for current Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp infielder Eddie Alvarez. Alvarez was selected to be a United States flag bearer for the opening ceremony of the Olympics on Friday night. He will join USA basketball legend Sue Bird, who will also carry the flag. Alvarez and the United States baseball team will get going in Tokyo next week with their first game against Israel, who also have a member of the Jumbo Shrimp on their roster. That's pitcher Jake Fishman. This Sports Center update sponsored by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Kinetico system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Kinetico systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Kinetico makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Purchasing home and auto insurance? Do it the Simply way with Simply IOA. Compare quotes and buy a policy online or over the phone. Search Simply IOA or call 844-TALK-TO-SIMPLY. IOA. Insurance the Simply way.
Hey, boss, did you see this article in the Crooks R Us newsletter about the ding-dong doorbell cameras?
What'd they do now?
Apparently, they automatically enroll the user in some internet sharing network with their neighbors.
What? That can't be real.
It is real. They even have a name for it. Do a search for sidewalk sharing. You can read all about it.
So you're telling me that all the ding-dong doorbell cameras on any given block are sharing internet with each other?
Yep. So if a hacker gets into one, they could have access to them all.
Does SafeTouch Security do that?
Boss, SafeTouch doesn't do that with their customer security. With SafeTouch, everything's encrypted.
I knew that. I was just testing you.
Well, it's just another reason we got the Crooks R Us golden rule.
Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Yeah, we'll call that one reason number 143.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
The Big One is back. It's time for the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. And Arlington's got over 700 new Toyotas available. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles and Arlington's worry-free 30-day exchange policy with your purchase. Arlington will even give you top dollar for your trade. Shop the Big One, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/big one for full details.
You know, don't let nobody tell you what you can be. I'm a freaking champion. I made them and I'm supposed to make it. You know, but I'm joking. Actually, I'm not, but yeah, just believe, man.
That's awesome. He's so good. Just so good. So real, you know?
Yeah.
Authentic, genuine, all that stuff. Big story, of course, last night. Giannis and the Bucks win the NBA championship. I kind of feel like you also have to say, like, Giannis, Chris Middleton and the Bucks.
True.
You know, it really feels that way. It's not just Giannis. He definitely stole the show, and he delivered. He delivered epic performance. Really, it is. You can overuse that word. It was that kind of performance that might not even get its due right now, but it will as the years go by. It was that good of a performance by Giannis, and I can't wait to kind of see a little bit more in the backstory about the knee and how that all kind of came about for him to be able to perform to this level. It'll be very interesting to see that. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey here on Wednesday. Last day for Austin. He's got a fight coming up on Saturday in Orlando. So good luck to Austin on that. Can't wait to get another dub.
Appreciate it.
Coming back
It's going to be for a belt, too, so I'll bring the belt by.
Bring the belt in.
Yeah.
We're all about the belts.
Yeah, we are.
Every day, bring the belt in.
That's
Just
right.
hold it up in front of the camera.
I'll start wearing the belt, even though it's not mine.
Yeah, you can still. Hey, you can have it, man.
Yeah.
You got it.
Thanks.
What size?
I mean, I know you didn't offer it, but I'm just telling you, I am going to wear it.
You'll steal it. I got you.
It does have to be a certain size. Of course, if it fits around your waist, it might have to fit around my chest.
No, I feel like it's all one size fits all. There's different options, so you're good. Plus, you get that one belt in here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We got the Dream 18 belt.
Yeah,
By the way,
good.
go register for the Dream 18 golf tournament. Action Sports Jax Dream18.com. Registration open September 20th at Southampton. Put on many of our sponsors, including Cadillac, law offices of Ron Scholes, Jacksonville Giants, Jacksonville Best Bet, and many more. Hope to see you out at the Dream 18 golf tournament. History made in Major League Baseball last night. The Rays game was on YouTube, and it was an all-female broadcast team. Take a listen to what it meant to Melanie Newman, Alana Rizzo, and Sarah Langs.
For all of the women who are out there covering the game for us that opened up the door for myself, Sarah, and Alana, guys, I mean, just really an awesome day.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just been so great to be part of this. So great to hear all of the energy that we've all gotten. So many positive vibes. And the great thing is, and you've said it a million times, this isn't the last. We're starting it, and this is where we go from here.
I just think the biggest thing, Melanie, is that we were the 5 that were lucky enough to be chosen to do this broadcast, but there are so many more women that have been doing what we're doing in this industry for such a long time, and there's so many accomplished women that have the resumes that could absolutely do this broadcast. Very happy to be a part of it. We recognize the moment, but above all, it's baseball, and we are certainly happy to be giving this broadcast to the audience.
Congratulations to them. As a baseball, softball family, I always think that's cool because, Kaylee loves the game, and I think of her when I see these kind of opportunities. I also, though, I will say this, even I have a daughter, and I don't see, it's funny, it surprises me these moments are as monumental now.
Yes.
Because I feel like I feel like we're almost by that. Like, I feel like women in sports are doing so many things, but I guess sometimes I forget they still haven't done some things.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so there's still these milestone moments. So congratulations to them. But it doesn't, again, it's just second nature now to me. It's not like this headline when I see a woman calling a game, a baseball game, a football game, a basketball game. Doris Burke's one of the best in the business, and she's a female.
Of course.
We've seen women on SportsCenter for years and
Some of the
years,
best as well.
sidelines. And
Yeah.
so many talented female sports broadcasters that I've got to be honest with you, it doesn't really enter my radar that much as this like, wow, what a moment. But then you got to stop and think, hey, that was a pretty cool moment. One thing, Ty was watching that Rays game, and he's like, Dad, there are 52,000 people watching on YouTube. I'm like, Ty, that's like nothing, man. Way more people watch on a regular broadcast, I would assume. I don't know how the YouTube stuff has gone, but I mean, 52,000, I know it sounds like a lot, but I don't think that's a lot. I mean, the TV viewership is way beyond 52,000 if you think about the Rays' reach on TV.
Well, especially when you think about like our viewership as well on YouTube.
Of course. 52,000 is just like a Friday afternoon for a half hour.
What are we talking about?
Well, the game was also on the Rays channel for some reason.
Oh, so I had another an option to watch it there too.
Yeah, so like if you were in market, the easier thing to do would just be turn on your TV versus getting on the computer. But if you were out of market, that's where they really hit.
Are you sure about that? I don't think you could watch it in market.
Well, I mean, I pulled tweets from the Rays Bally broadcast, so I don't know if they were broadcast on TV, but they were sitting there calling the game.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I saw was it Mark Tompkin, I think, writes for Tampa Bay Times, that said you won't see stats and the normal broadcast crew, and Bally's broadcasting it. instead of just all on YouTube exclusive. Regardless, what are the YouTube is the YouTube thing working? Like, is that?
Yeah,
like,
it's
Major League
nice.
Baseball has tried it. I mean, do you like it?
Yeah, because it's all. I mean, it's a random game every week, but like I would not usually watch. I think the Braves did it a couple first times. I watched them when I was down in TV at night. It's nice. It's convenient for sure.
Well, it's easy
to find.
access. Yeah.
Easy to find, right? Yeah. And there are a lot of the broadcast restrictions. There's a lot of them sometimes. Like, again, depending on where you live and what market it's in and your home broadcast. And I mean,
it's the future, man.
Well, the beauty of anything, you can find anything. You know, I mean, if you got DirecTV, you get the app, you can watch it from 3 hours away. You know, I mean, if you go to Peacock or you go to CBS Sports or you go to ESPN's app, I mean, there's a lot of, you can find anything, which is cool. That is for sure. All right, man. Cool. We got Stuart Weber, Marcel Robinson trying to fill in for you. The one good thing about when they fill in is I think I could knock both their asses out.
You said that button? It's going to be a button. When we come in
You
here.
might be a little bit different, but I do have a baseball bat right next to me.
Well, that's my baseball bat, though.
I know, but I've got it next to me.
Okay, but it's in,
So
but it's in
watch
your
what you
hand
do
right now, so
and watch
okay.
what you say.
I'll be sure to be careful.
All right, good
man.
luck, man. Have a good fight.
Appreciate you.
And bring home a dub. We'll be watching for sure.
Sounds good.
And we'll try to share where everybody else can get access to the fight for Saturday night. Cool. Good luck to you, and give our best to Reggie Northrup.
Right on, man. I'll pass that on. We'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30 as well. We'll update you on the Jags news, and also news on Bobby Bowden today is also a big story. We will have those for you on the TV side. And back at it tomorrow at 3 on ESPN 690. Have a good night, everybody. We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids. And with that, we need a reliable car. And we need folks that are tremendous at